What do you guys give me if I kill that bird?
Barbara, that's a bald eagle.
Get away, Baldy! Yeah!
Well, I don't know what happened there, but this is The Wort with Mike, Pete, and Steve, GovsRadio.com. We are live here at the biggest and the baddest comedy club in all of Long Island, Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, Long Island. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Something overlapped there in this. I don't know quite what the hell happened there, but we'll get this back on track. We wanted to hit the 8 o'clock. That's what it was. We have a very special guests in the house tonight. Before we get to that, we do have to talk about our sponsors tonight. We're going to kick it off as we always do with Rosie's Draft Solutions. Stephen, take it away.
All right, Rosie's Draft Solutions is a Long Island family-owned business that provides professional draft beer system services, line cleanings and maintenance, draft beer line system installs, event dispensing solutions, and more. They are passionate about craft beer and making sure it has the same quality as when it left the brewery, and is only done by making sure that the draft system the beer is being poured through is perfectly clean. Rosie services bars, restaurants, halls, events, and all other beverage establishments, including home kegerated installs across Long Island and Westchester.
Westchester, the best Chester I've heard.
Oh, yeah. You can reach them at rosiesdraftsolutions@gmail.com or call them at 631-219-2075, Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mention the Wort. You're going to get probably a back rub and a massage.
That's nice.
And a discount.
Ooh, guys, so go to rosiesdraftsolutions.com and in the promo code type in the Wort, or just go ahead and call up Nick and tell him the Wort sent you for receive your percentage off your order. We're also sponsored tonight by Brewbag. For your beer pong cornhole, go to brewbag.com or go into our Instagram, and in our link tree, there's a very special link right to our page for your discount. 10% off your Brewbag. Go to brewbag.com for your outdoor beer pong cornhole. Brewbag.com. We're also sponsored tonight by VintageBeerShirtClub.com. Also, the promo code, The Wort. Go on there and get your monthly subscription to some vintage beer shirts. Go to VintageBeerShirtClub.com and get yours today. We're also sponsored by, and it's in your truck, Stephen, Beer Maker. You want to go ahead and talk about Beer Maker?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Beer Maker, an all-in-one home brew system that you can do all-grain brewing.
Yes.
You could also do extract brewing if you wanted to, but all-in-one brews 1 gallon at a clip. It has its own dispenser that goes in your refrigerator that you could pour the beer that is fully carbonated, and all the parts are easily cleaned in your dishwasher.
Now, let me ask you this. 1 gallon of beer, how many beers can you get out of that? How many 12 ounces?
Well,
I don't do math well.
Well, if you look at it this way,
I don't do math so good.
For a growler, a regular growler,
64
ounces.
So that's about a gallon?
So with that growler, you're getting 4 pints.
Okay.
So
16 ounce. Right.
So a growler 64 ounces. Yeah. You want to do 2 of those growlers. And so you're looking at 8 pints. Roughly.
8 pints, maybe like a shy can of a 12-pack of 12
without
ounces
a doubt.
Somewhere in there.
And this beer you don't have a lot of loss.
No.
That's the thing where when you
there was not a lot of loss.
No,
it was just a lot of
pretty much had a full gallon of beer of the 5 different styles that we did.
We've done. We got more styles to go, Steve. I got a ton of stuff in my house. I got 3, I think now. I'm backed up. And like I've eaten too many bananas.
And I have 2.
And you have 2. And we have to do our Riverhead malt, which we have an awesome show coming up with a malt house down in the Kakalackas, right? Are they in the Kakalackas?
I believe so.
Yeah, and they're gonna go ahead and jump on, and we're gonna brew a beer with their malt, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. So go to Beermaker, BERMKR.com. We also have a link in our Instagram, and promo code is the Wort, like it is always. Go to the Wort. And promo code the Wort, and you'll get your percentage off your beer maker today. Finally, we are sponsored by Brewers Hardware. Brewers Hardware for your large capacity, small capacity needs. We got Brewers Hardware on the hook, helping us out with gifts back to the brewers. Thank you very much to Will and Darren and all the guys out there. Really appreciate their hard work and their sponsorship throughout the year. BrewersHardware.com. Quick shout outs to Physics for our percentage off, 20% off your order. Go to physics.com for your tabletop dispensary, and you could get beer right from your can, your 12-ounce, 16-ounce, your Crowler.
Bombers.
Your Bombers, your 750s, and you got a beer right on tap. Go to physics.com. And, of course, we got to give a quick shout-out to our buddies over at Hopscotch.
Hopscotch!
Rob, are you participating in we didn't introduce our guest yet, but I'm going to have to say it. Are you participating in the grilled cheese super crazy eating contest? You wish you were.
Why? All I know is I had gotten a text message from
As did I.
From Paul Comsick.
Oh, I got it from Mark.
Yeah. I got it from Paul Comsick over at Ghost.
Okay.
And he said, "You got to come down, bro, because I am taking this another reward for Ghost."
Everyone's so cocky about it. I've seen a lot of people out there talking shit.
When he wins it,
yeah,
he's gonna just purposely
throw up.
No, he's gonna tag somebody. In the win.
Oh.
That's going to be awesome.
All right. So go over to Hopscotch. Check it out. They have a grilled cheese eating challenge for all the brewers. It's going to be an awesome
their 30th anniversary.
And that's July 30th? 31st.
31st.
31st, that's right. That's why I can't make it. I unfortunately will not be here, but be there. But I'm sure Steve will take some photos and videos for our Instagram if everyone misses it.
I want to be there.
I want you to join. I want you to be in it.
I can't, man.
I know.
I know. I want to, and I'd probably win. But.
Well, let's get back into that later. Let's introduce our guest today in studio. We have Gary Rosen from Synergy Brew Project right here on Long Island. We're going to talk a lot about what all that means in just a moment. Hi, Gary.
Brew Project.
Did I say brew? Oh, I meant to say brew. Sorry. I had said brew before, and then for some reason it came up as beer project.
Because I said beer project.
You did. That's what you said, beer project. This is a brew project. Yeah, and, of course, you guys may know him. It's Rob from the Superstars, West Babylon and Lindy, hanging out with us. We loved having you on last time, and, of course, we've been in a bunch of times and gotten a lot of recommendations, of course, from Synergy, from Springs. You work at Ubergeek, so there's a big tie-in tonight. We're going to probably hear from Rob Raffa a little later. As people that know Rob knows, he has a child and a wife and a family, and it's tough at this time of the year.
And he's actually moving.
Oh, is he too?
And he's going to be calling in with earbuds. He's in the process.
As he's lifting stuff
he's
in.
lifting some boxes.
Yeah.
And
as
he's driving to talk some like science type of stuff. Yeah.
Well, listen, I think if he has the time, great. If he doesn't, listen, we get it. We'll make do without him. But thanks, Rob, for calling in later, and we'll talk a little bit about that tie-in as well. A couple things for the people who haven't been around the show in a couple of, weeks or so. We had some time off after AC Beer Fest. We came back, we did a Zoom show with 14 Star. By the way, sent that care package out to them today.
Awesome.
I was away for a week, went down to North Kakalaka. Did not get to go see the Riverbend Malt House, unfortunately.
That's because those wife and kids.
Well, I could have done what I wanted. But really quick, just as a wrap-up of just that exploration, craft beer, as many people know, is not the same in every state, though there are some states that are starting to kind of move forward to what we're used to. So we're used to, pretty much a brewery almost in every major town and village on Long Island, right? You could pretty much find what you want. Even at some of the local distributors, you can find what you want at restaurants and bars. There is a good showing of craft beer. When you go down to these other states, and I'm not crapping or shitting on North Carolina at all, it's different. But it has the elements of where we were a while ago. Now, there's two shops down there I'm going to give quick shout-outs to, something that I was very interested in. I did post it on our Instagram. It was a story, so it's gone by now. Is that having to make you pee?
No.
Oh, okay. So, by the way, for anyone who's watching,
be able to get closer.
We have a nice drip drop coming down between us. This is not the first time.
Just stop?
No, it's going to fall again. So, I went to something which is innovative. Maybe it's me, just first time I saw it. Brew Through, a drive-through distributor. It looks like a car wash. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's a converted car wash gas station. So you look it up and you're like, what's Brew Through? Now there's, planes carrying the banners, those guys. And I'm like, I'm interested in what this is all about. Went down to Kitty Hawk, which was south of where I was staying. And there was a couple of Brew Throughs down there. Interesting. Gas station on the right when you pull in. Then you pull in the back like it was a car wash. And all of a sudden, you're inside of a distributor. You're just in a car in a distributor. You're like, what the hell? Coolers all to your right, coolers to your left. There's some merch and stuff like that from the various craft beer places. Some very, very different beer. Obviously, it's very regionalized. They try to, spread it out. But you could find things like Dogfish and Victory and things like that. But some really cool things. Like I was trying to find Ouzelfinch, a brewery that we've had on the show. Really enjoyed being at their brewery by mistake down in Virginia. They supplied Ouzelfinch at the distributor, so I got 2 different Ouzelfinches. And then I grabbed something else locally. I went to a couple of different places. There was another smaller mom and pop shop. They have 2 locations called Growlers to Go. I think it's Growlers to Go. And it's you walk in and it's almost like a hopscotch.
Oh, okay.
More focus on the taps for the Growlers to Go than the cans available. There was only like 2 or 3 shelves of cans, and that's it. There was one, freezer or fridge or whatever, and then 40 taps.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of taps. Interesting,
now,
design.
Do you know were they doing growlers and?
Having trouble hearing me too. What?
Growlers and crowlers?
No, just growlers. Now you can bring your own in. They had the 32 or 64. And then they also would allow you to buy one of theirs. And it was only like $2 to get the growler. They expect you to buy theirs, I guess, because it gives them a little bit of incentive.
In a lot of states, you could only use the growler that is from a brewery, the same brewery. Yeah. And
it has to have the name of it on it?
It has to have the name on it. You can't use
What if you just slap the sticker on it? And it... I'm not saying nothing, but
I'm ahead of you. I know. So you couldn't bring a Blue Point
to Greenport
to Greenport. They would not be able to fill it.
So I think Connecticut is like that, and I'm going to say this: one of the things that stuck with me is I brought a Greenport growler with me to Two Roads, and they took our Two Road sticker, put it on the growler,
on that bitch,
and filled it up.
Cool.
And I went, why the hell they did? Now this was.
Why did you fuck up my shit?
Fuck up my Greenport thing? This was like 7 years ago, 7 years ago, and I just didn't get it then, right? Now I'm like thinking, well, that makes a lot of sense if that's a state whose laws say that you. What do you think the thinking is behind that?
For them,
sorry, folks. I know we're starting off a little different tonight, but I want to get into the travels now.
It's the sanitary wise. Whatever product was in that went home, and now it's coming back with the same.
All right.
And so
quality control concept.
Yes.
So then, why is it not such a big deal in other states if that's really the reasoning?
Because you know what?
Is it really?
As we used to do.
Yeah.
You come in and your growler was dirty.
Yeah.
We would either rinse it out for you, or we'd say, "Yeah, we're not filling that. We'll, if you want, you could get one of ours,
right?
Or get a growler, but this thing is disgusting,
right?
And now beer
What's even worse is
change
caps.
once it's in it.
So I really appreciate when you go to a place and they give you a brand new cap that's sitting in ISO or something, whatever they have there. I'm like, that just made my day. Love it. I love that this.
How many times you? Oh no, this is clean, and then you take the cap off.
Oh, it's
and when it
green.
goes, it makes that little, and you're like, oh, that's pressure.
Yeah,
that's not good.
There's something fermenting
There's
in there.
Something that's been cooking. And then you take the cap, and it's black like veins.
Or green. I had one that was green. It was terrible, and I went, I can't use this. I can't even clean this cap.
Yeah.
Even in alcohol. I mean, I'm just not going to do it. Yeah, so I love when I go there and I find someone that has like fresh caps for me. That's
fresh caps.
Fresh caps.
That's what it's all about, kids.
So I was, inspecting all these different layers of stuff that at these places, and again, to me, it was just a different place. I went to Northern Outer Banks Brewing Company, tiny little place.
But I'm still I'm enthralled with this brew through.
Oh, dude, it was cool.
Now,
I wish I took video. I took a couple pictures, but nothing.
I mean, could you see everything in the?
You could get out. You could drive in. Okay. You could add. There's an attendant that comes up to you, which is very cool. She was very knowledgeable. I asked for local IPA, something, 12 or 16, something I could have, some low ABV and something higher. So I got like a 9% double, and then I got like a 6% lower. And then she just knew exactly what to go for. There was something here and something there and a couple of recommendations, and I was good to go. But you could get out. You have to park up. You could probably fit 2 or 3 cars inside of the station.
Wow.
When you can get out, shop, buy, and get right back in your car. But she did it right through
Interesting.
the window, which was very nice. Because I had nothing in mind. I was just like, give me beer.
Give
me beer,
give me the stuff
brew-through.
that you would drink.
Yes, exactly. Well, she did. She made the recommendation for the Usual Finch, which was a peach vanilla cheesecake fruited sour, which was dessert.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was heavy. My wife and I each had one, and then the other 2 kind of didn't make it through the weekend. And I had 10 people at the house, so it wasn't like we didn't have enough people, but it wasn't really the style that we thought it was going to be. We thought it was just going to be a regular, nice, clear, drinkable sour, maybe a goza or something like that. And then, like I said, I got a double IPA. They had Party Dinosaur, which was my wife's favorite, but it wasn't the chili flake one, so we didn't get that one. There was a couple of options there, which was awesome, and it's just fun to do. It's like one of those, and I'm sure that's why they have it flying in the sky and behind a plane, right? Yeah. Here's something fun with the kids. You can drive through and grab some beer, and then have a good time.
There was a drive-through bevy in New Jersey up until a couple of years ago.
There was one.
Yeah,
Oh.
one
Do you
that
know
I
where it
remember.
was?
I texted him.
He's getting it back. He's getting the informations.
And my buddy doesn't remember. Sorry, man.
It's kind of cool, though.
Because he's drunk right now.
concept.
It was like on 287. Like I forget it, and it was a regular bet. Well, in New Jersey, you have wine and beer at the same. So on one side, it was like wine, beer, everything, and then on the other side, you could just drive through, and they would put it right in your trunk.
That's cool.
And I forget the friggin' name of it. Sorry, I texted my guy, and he's like, I don't remember. And
Rob, here's an idea for the next superstar.
Yeah.
Drive-through distro. Drive-through distro.
Man, let me tell you,
Yeah.
some guys right now, if they wanted to,
Just taking that idea and running with it.
Well, if one of their car washes doesn't make it,
Yeah.
turn it through
Turn it
drive-through
right to
goddamn
distro.
bevy.
That'd be great.
Lindenhurst is closer.
Yeah.
You can drive through actually right.
That's all we need as a
I
society.
fear for my life
is to
every
just
day.
get
I'm
my
trying
legs.
to think of where there would be a gas station that had a car wash that you could do it to. The one in Copeg, maybe, right by where Root and Branch opened up. And that's the other thing I wanted to mention. Congratulations to the gentleman over at Root and Branch, opening it up about a week and a half ago now. And I stopped over there. I saw their post. You actually told me the post. Did you see that? I'm going over there now. I literally 5 minutes later, I'm in the car on the way over. Great little vibe there. Very, very Brooklyn-y feel, right? When you go in there, it's all white. It's very clean. Little small plant on each table, kind of feel. But, the beer is spot on. So what they did and what they're going to be doing now from here on out is pretty much keep the hype that they have acquired now over the years, and they're still going to do their can releases, and they're still going to have proxies and people that are going to pick up for other people.
I know they did a. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole concept of what they were doing, they're not losing that, and I think that's going to be unique to them. Because I know, of course, you got the hype of other half, you got the hype of other people, but there was a very specific kind of hype for Root and Branch type of releases, especially at Evil Twin, and I think a lot of those people are now coming out here, especially because it's a block away from the Copeg train station, and that made a big difference to them to have easy transportation right out to the brewery.
I know also with their opening, they did a couple of tap takeovers. They did one at Proletariat in Brooklyn.
Yes, yeah.
In
That was
Manhattan.
recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're doing one this Thursday at Black Sheep Ale House in Mineola.
They have enough beer. I think they've been stockpiling because you had to see the cooler. I was peeking behind. It's like, what's in that cooler? Making sure they weren't doing the grand opening, grand closing type of deal.
Geez, yeah.
Because I'm sure they got packed. When I was there, it was mildly busy, but it just had opened within an hour. So, and they just announced it. So I knew it was going to be, give me 2 hours and this place is going to be packed out. Yeah. And they had nothing to go unless you brought your own growler.
Right.
And they basically just had enough glassware to survive the weekend.
Now they're doing some can releases.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they had their can backed up too, but they were still doing their releases in New York City or in Brooklyn or wherever. But while they were opening, on that same week, and then the tap takeovers and everything else. But they had I saw a lot of kegs backed up in the back, so they must have been hustling in the last 3 months, 4 months, right before the opening when they started their system up to get beer ready to go. So a lot of big things have been happening over the last few weeks. This is the Wort with Mike, Pete, and Steve, GovsRadio.com. Who do we got on the phone?
Hey, how's it going? This is Rob from Ubergeek.
Hey, Rob Raffa, folks.
Robbie.
I heard you're moving today, sir. Is that true?
Oh yeah, no, I actually missed the first bit of this because I was driving. It's been crazy.
We were just talking shit about you, don't worry.
Has Gary embarrassed himself yet?
I've said 4 things.
Yes.
And none of them is a question.
We barely even introduced him yet. We were just doing a little recap. We've been kind of in and out of the studio for like 2 months now, and really haven't had that momentum. Though I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, our insights in the last week have been great. When we haven't had any great content out there. So I'm liking what we're seeing. We're still moving forward. Rob, really appreciate you calling in, but let me get back to introducing everybody because obviously that's why we had Rob call in tonight. It's a big tie-in to our guest in studio, Gary from Synergy Brew Project. See, this time I'll get it. He's here with us, and he's going to be talking a lot about this conceptual idea, this collaborative arm of Ubergeek that is a very interesting business model, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that and your side of it, Rob. But let's start with Gary and get a little background on you, sir. How did this all come about? How did you get to this point today?
He's an alcoholic. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Well,
alcoholics go to meetings. Yeah. I can't take a couple of... I can't make 12 steps in a row. I'll fall.
Without alcohol.
And if you go there, you're a quitter.
Yes.
And quitters never win.
Critters never prosper.
Well, for me, I guess many years ago, there was a man named Ed that asked a woman named Lee to the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, and I came along.
You're Marty McFly?
And, well, you know. No. I've been into beer for a long time. I've been into craft beer for a long time. I met my biological parents when I was 29. They were very much into craft beer. I got a job at Blue Pond.
Hold on. I gotta back up. You gotta back up. Sure. You met your biological parents at 29.
Yeah, when I was 29.
You were adopted?
Yes, sir.
Me too.
Look at that.
Hey,
buddy.
We could have been brothers of another mother.
God, look at that. I guess there's 4 people on the planet that hate us.
Yes. I think mine was only 1, so maybe 3.
All right, there you go. All right, I got you.
But yeah, I didn't know if that's where you were going, but interesting.
No. Yeah. So that's what it was, and I always known that.
So you went and found your parents.
Yes.
And you found out that they were into craft beer.
Yes, there was.
What was that? What was that whole journey to find them and get that going? How did you even get to that point?
It was a long time. So I started looking when I was 18.
Okay.
When I legally could, and I found them when I was 29.
Okay.
And it was pretty interesting because I spoke to my mother first because you knew Ed and Lee. Yes. And so I spoke to Lee on the phone for the first time. So like, do you want to speak with Ed? And I was like, sure. And the third thing he asked me was, do you like beer? And I was like, funny you should ask. And interestingly enough, I got to write, you guys remember All About Beer magazine?
I don't.
All right.
I wasn't probably... is it still around?
I actually had a picture before I was a brewer.
Yeah.
In All About Beer magazine. I had a spread of all these bottles on my bar at home.
You sent it into them?
And I sent it in. It was...
Featured?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
So in...
Photo courtesy of Steve Pominski.
In every issue, like on the last page before the back cover, they would do It's My Round, and it was for non-writers that would just tell their story about how craft beer, like how they relate to craft beer. So I got to tell the story about meeting my biological parents and talking to Ed, and it was published a month before we lost him, and I think that's just awesome.
Huh?
You know, because he was a big deal in Long Island beer. My mom was like, Lee was a big deal.
So what did they do? What was their?
So they
Long Beer and Malt.
What?
LIBME. They were
the original members?
They were original founders, and he was the treasurer for many, many years.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of in my blood, I guess. And then
And every time I've gone to Colorado, I seek out Lee, because she's been with Flightco
for
a while when she left Long Island after Ed left us. and started life anew.
Huh.
And she's doing really well there.
Is she still doing anything in beer?
Yes.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
still with Flyco Brewing.
Okay,
and I
what's-
think something else now.
So here's the funny thing. My biological mother is the general manager of Flightco Brewing Company Tasting Room in Colorado. My biological sister, Jill, is the general manager of the Tasting Room Barkentine Brewing Company in Colorado. My wife, Mariah, is this head of sales and general manager of North Fork Brewing Company here on Long Island, and I'm the only idiot that's not running a brewery. So Rob, I think what I'm saying is fire Jeannie and let me get off the fucking street. Let me get off the street. Yeah, that's like the whole background of it all.
Ah, wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. And it's pretty cool that got published on the back page of the back pages of that magazine, that publication.
Yeah. It was really cool. He got to read it and everything like that. So after I met him, because I started out as a college professor and a therapist, and I promise you, we don't have enough time to
Yes,
go
we
into
do.
all of it. So
I'll get back to that.
I got a
mental
job
note.
at Blue Point. So my first job in beer. You guys were talking about growlers. I filled growlers all day. I did. You'll get a kick out of this. 12 half barrels a day through a jockey box into growlers, and
a jockey box.
I was in my mid-30s and I had a fucking master's degree from Columbia, and they were paying me $12 an hour to do that because the beer industry is awesome, right? What do? You sat
much
there and you
fun.
drank all day and you made some beer, right? Because that's
yeah.
that's what you do. You
I was
just
a rock
drink all
star.
day long,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Damn straight.
Because I wanted to be in the beer industry like an idiot. So yeah, anyway, to make the long story longer, Blue Point wanted me to get into sales. They had just started to open up Florida, and Pete was like, "Hey Gary, we're opening Florida. I think you need to be our sales guy down there." And I thought about it for a day or two, and I said, "Pete, I understand I'm a Jewish fella, but I do not think I'm ready to go down to Boca just yet."
A little young still.
So they were like, "How about New Jersey?" So I was their sales manager for the Mid-Atlantic, and about 2009, I guess, I moved to New Jersey, and I had been there for 10 or so years working for them, and then a distributor, and then another brewery, and then when Mama Rosen got sick, I moved back home, and here we are.
Wow.
There you go. That's the very, very, very abridged version of it. And while now I represent a couple of small breweries, I spoke to Rob because I wanted to look at getting some different revenue streams in, instead of putting my eggs all in one basket. There's a couple of breweries that I wanted to work with. So I said, "Hey, Rob, did you ever think about this?" Because I know he did some contracting. I know he's making phenomenal beer on his own, and from going from Mustache onto his own, and then buying the building and all, and contracting. I said, "Hey, what do you think about this? And you do this, and I'll be kind of like the sales guy and that." And we really kind of meshed. And like, I remember when I was listening to the Springs, when you guys had them on, what's her face said that it was just very synergistic when they met Rob. And that was kind of like how
he
I
said,
felt.
"Oh, geez, I love that name.
that
I
name.
love that
Well, I
word."
didn't necessarily rip it off from them saying it, so sorry, dude. I owe you no money. But it was just something that we both had the same visions and all, and now we kind of say that all of our beers are brewed with 500 pounds of friendship
Oh,
because neither of
that's
us
so
are
nice.
very, very slim, and I guess that's how I got here.
All right, so let's get right into it. Rob, tell us on your end exactly how you fit into this, how Gary approached you for that. Give me your side of that story that he was telling us.
All right, so Gary came to me on his knees, just begging and pleading.
Can I please be a part of this?
Yeah,
pretty much.
I've known Gary for a bit, and he's a really charismatic individual, as you can tell. And no, he came with this idea, and I'm like, this idea is really good because I feel like there's a little bit of a void out there. It's a little bit of a unique concept, and I asked Gary if I could steal it, and he's like, "Yeah, sure." So we ended up making Gary the brand ambassador sales representative for it. And he's honestly knocking it out of the park. He's made so many non-brewery connections out there that it's Gary, what are we booked all the way through February with this?
January, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully, we will have a the Wort podcast beer or a Governor's beer coming up for February. But
Governors would have its own beer.
we'll get there. I'm still tickling him right now.
He could probably. I get you the right guy. I get you a guy to talk to.
But yeah, we're booked up through the end of the year, which is cool. Doing one beer a month.
Yeah, and the other cool thing with this is, we can kind of break the rules with what Ubergeek does. So we kind of, not many people know, but we're an all-vegan brewery as well,
right.
Ubergeek. And with that, we can't use honey, we can't use lactose, and doing, this collaborative arm, technically it's a different business. So we can break the rules and we can do these things and use lactose, and use honey.
Okay.
And that's not under the Ubergeek name, it's under the Synergy name.
Now,
So-
how does that work, licensing wise? It just falls under your license, even though.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
So it's it falls under our LLC. It's essentially a DBA.
Okay.
There we go. Yep.
All right. Well, all stacked up. So let's talk about this business. So you guys have gone out. Obviously, you've sent Gary out into the netherworld and told him, go find me people, non-brewers, that want to put together some sort of beer. What's the pitch, Gary? What do you have to do to talk to? Are people coming to you just because they know what's going on? Or are you looking for some specific things to get this going? Because you're on brew number 3 now in the tanks, I would assume, right?
Yes, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're doing this once a month, just the brew day. Then you got the time in the tank, the canning, and of course, Rob, you're trying to work this all around the schedule, right?
I'm sorry, I had you on mute there. I'm
That's
also
right.
cleaning a brew house while we're doing this.
Well, as you should. That's what you do on moving day. You go back to the brewery and you clean.
Well, yeah, no, so it's crazy. So I brewed all day, went home, took care of the kids, put the kid down, and now I ran back to the brewery to clean up the brew house, and after this, I'm going to go home and continue moving. So I'm going to go to bed at like 3 in the morning.
You did it to yourself,
you're
Rob.
gonna go to bed at 3 to get up at 4 for a brew day tomorrow, and
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, what was the question?
I was saying, so I was really talking to both of you. When you go out and when Gary is going out promoting this, I mean, obviously he has the backing of Ubergeek, the namesake there of the brewing expertise that you bring to the table. When you guys first started this concept, were you looking to just get, I know you got the IPA, you said that was yours, right? You just, because you're a dick, you just want to get it going, just to show it off, just to have something out there for people.
In this day and age, you have to brew an IPA. And I've heard many times on this show, many times on everywhere, brewers and owners talking about, I brew IPAs because I have to, and I brew these beers because I like them and I want to. So from a strictly sales point of view, and I believe it's still 1 in 4 craft beers consumed in the United States is an IPA. So
Jesus.
I have to
That's a lot.
do that. And years ago, because again, I kind of got into the industry a little bit before it blew up. And so I'm a pretty outspoken asshole. And I got slaughtered online when everything was hazy IPA. And I made some jokes and I was like, wait till you all grow up and you've been in this a little bit and you're ready to go to lagers and all. And now and I have the screenshots because I'm a petty fucking cunt of all the guys that gave me shit that are just like on the crispy boy thing now, but so that was like, I was like, Rob, I want to call it this.
I just love that he was like, because I'm a petty bitch, but I'm gonna shove it right in their fucking face.
No, I am.
Love
You
it.
know what, dude? Like,
There's
hey,
nothing better than that. Though.
yeah, you know what? I'm like,
Nothing
hey,
better.
I'm gonna remember this. So basically, I told Rob, I said, hey, look, here's this, and I was like, I don't fanboy over many hops. Nelson happens to be one of them. I was like, so I need an IPA. There's Nelson hops, and then we need this, that, and the other thing. And then I gave him a couple of adjectives, and he put together a recipe.
Bright.
And
Yummy.
no, it was amazing because again, when I go out to fancy like wine places with a sommelier,
Yeah.
I want to give them 5 adjectives,
Right.
and a number, and I want them to bring the bottle of wine that's in my brain,
Right.
And I've been fortunate enough that happens. So I told Rob, hey, ba 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 ba. and he came up with it, and I thought he nailed it. And
Yeah.
it was like unbelievable, So that was just the first beer to get out there, so we could start putting the name out, and then we could start talking to some other accounts. So
Build the portfolio.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Rob is a genius, and he's an incredible brewer, and he's the only person I went to with this. Because I knew that he would get it
Gary,
and he
stop.
could do anything. No, man, you're a good brewer, and maybe a race.
Now, did your wife say anything to you since she's over at North Fork?
So, all right, the first beer we did before she was over at North Fork, and then
Okay.
she got the North Fork job, and then our second beer was gonna be with Nikki Bartales,
Oh,
Sour
yeah.
and Sass,
Yeah.
and I may have caught some shit
Oh boy.
privately,
A little bit.
privately. And now when she's done, like, she's actually in BJCP class right now. So when she listens to this in a couple days, I'm going to catch more shit. It's like, seriously, dude. But just some things happened with some other accounts and what they needed to do. So we kind of pushed Nikki back. And it was awesome that this that we're drinking now was Mariah's
We'll get into these
beer.
beers later.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
especially with
So basically this was like, I want this idea. This is what I like. Blah, blah, blah. And Rob came up with this recipe, and I think this is an insane beer.
Rob, this sounds like to me, it's like chopped brewing. Do you enjoy that kind of concept where Gary just feeds you a couple ingredients and adjectives, and you get to just put everything together?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So I've always said so every Tuesday night I bartend, and it's like our small industry night, and it's everybody's welcome to it. I get that question a lot where people are like, "Oh, can I come? I'm not industry." Yes, you can come, but I talk to people about this concept of limitations. I love boundaries because it forces you to be creative. So yet again, Ubergeek being vegan.
Yeah.
So that's a limitation because at the time, like when I first started the brewery, everybody was lactose. So I had to find a way to be able to mimic that feel of lactose in a beer without actually using lactose.
Now, I don't think we asked you when you were on. Did you do that on? Are you a vegan yourself, and that's why you wanted to go with that concept of vegan brewery?
Nope, no, I'm not a vegan.
Okay.
Actually, it stemmed from a conversation that I had with my brother.
Okay.
My brother Kevin, he lives in Oregon. He's vegan.
Okay.
And he had a very compelling argument. It's why not make something that's accessible to everybody? By making it vegan, you're not limiting, you're not preventing somebody from having it.
Right.
But by making it not vegan, you are. You're preventing a whole community. And I was like, you know what? Let's just roll with that. So it actually has worked out really well because there's a large vegan community out there that knows that our beers are safe as long as they have the Ubergeek label on them, and it's not a collaboration beer. They know they can drink it. If the collaboration beer is brewed in-house, it will always be vegan. But
Right.
if the collaboration is brewed elsewhere, it may or may not be.
And that was my question. And just for one moment, I was about to ask it, and you jumped right in and finished it off. So that's really your ability then. Now, here's a question. So if you're doing a Synergy beer, and obviously you're cleaning tanks in between regardless, is there anything to bringing in non-vegan ingredients to the brew house that would tarnish that kind of purity of vegan brewing under the Ubergeek label?
No. So I think
say that he's kosher.
yeah.
I was about to bring up the kosher thing.
I'm
It's
like,
frozen, but yeah.
Here's the way I look at it.
Sounds just like it.
Yeah.
Here's the way I look at it.
Okay.
With cleaning these tanks and with brewing this beer, you have to make sure that the equipment is spotless to begin with before you're putting anything into it. So it has to be free of any oils. It has to be free of any sort of contaminants. So if I'm going to that level of sanitation, there should be no issue with any kind of crossover that somebody would raise.
Cross contamination.
Yeah.
Well,
Right,
the insides
now-
of a tank after cleaning is the same as a operating room.
Sure.
You're at 99.9%. Like that's your
Germ-free, yeah.
So
There was a part of Ubergeek I did not know about. I did not know it was a vegan brewery.
No.
I had no idea. So, and that's the thing. I guess that's what you were going for, Rob. Because for me, I'm not one that would have to worry about gluten-free or vegan or anything like that. So it doesn't count me out regardless. And you're right. In the opposite direction, you're immediately kind of canceled out if it had the lactose or it had honey or something like that.
And
Yeah,
you know what?
that's right.
Yeah.
And we work with a food truck. I'm sure you know Peach and Pine.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
they're an all vegan food truck, and they come to our place pretty frequently. And it's nice for their clientele to
Sure.
come out this way and know that they can drink and eat and not have to worry.
Right.
You know, it's thinking back too. Had a friend,
Yeah.
vegan,
Okay.
and he would come in and call. He would ask for me, and all right, point which one, you know, you would say is vegan.
Yeah.
Which doesn't have this, which and sometimes maybe one beer on our board. I could say yes.
And now, what do you think the main culprit is? Is it lactose?
it was several things.
Is
I
there-
mean,
well, obviously, yada, yada,
I
yada.
mean, well, just findings that we would use to, make the beer clearer.
Glass.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
stuff is what,
It's-
derivative of...
Fish guts.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Wow.
and a lot of people don't realize that, but a lot of breweries use that. I mean, there are other things you can use.
Yeah.
and a lot of breweries use that also, but. Back in the day, that was the big thing.
Huh.
You use super moss or something like that, and
What's the alternative nowadays?
Rob,
Don't answer me. I don't use finding agents.
there you go, buddy.
Love it. Rob, so, having this new part of the schedule going on, how has scheduling been? Has it been much
Oh, it's a
tough?
nightmare.
I was going to say much
Oh,
tougher.
it's a nightmare. No, it's so we brew our own beer, and then we also do contracts as well.
Yeah.
So between Ubergeek beer, between the contracts that we're doing, between Synergy beer, it gets a little crazy to balance it all and figure it all out.
So you talk about your contracts. We had Springs on, Gunnar and Lindsay.
Nice.
On the show a few months ago. Great folks, awesome beer. We're really impressed by the Lightning IPA. How has that contract been going, and how often are you brewing spring beer?
Oh man, yeah. So Gunnar and Lindsay, they're fantastic people, and I'm brewing probably I want to say 2 to 3 different beers for them per month.
Wow.
Yeah, they're rolling with it. So if you haven't had Springs beer, you need to go out there and try some.
Yes, you do. I was just talking to somebody right before the last week about that Lightning IPA again, and it was just something about that beer on that night just got me. I did buy a 4-pack a week later. Not that it wasn't good, but I wasn't as enamored with it, but probably because I already had it, and it wasn't that first impression. But it was still delicious, and you obviously have a lot to do with that, but them also being part of it, and again, like you said, fine folks, awesome people, the whole concept of what they're doing, same idea. Have you explored other contracts? Is there anybody else on the contract schedule?
Horizon.
Yeah, so we do contracts for Springs. There's a new brewery that popped up. They just got their license for their tasting room, Kid Squid.
Oh, I
They're
did
out.
hear about that. Yes.
Yeah, so they're out in Sag Harbor.
Yep.
Oh boy, another fucking trek. God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it's too dense elsewhere. You got to go.
It is true, though. You're right.
Out to Bumblefuck to have a brewery now.
That is true. I mean, Rocky Point is still. Are they still brewing?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? And that's another area besides like Po' Boy, or you go a little further out, and there's by the time you get to Greenport, there's nothing. So you got a couple miles on that North Shore you can go, but Sag Harbor's just so far
Yeah, that's
away.
South Fork. There's like those are the 2 that are brewing there.
So far
You know?
away. Yeah, it's pretty much it. I want to. So, what do you have going on with that schedule, Rob? Are they coming up sooner than later? What's the most recent on them?
Who? Kid Squid?
Yeah, Kid Squid.
Yeah. So Kid Squid, I've got something finishing up in the tank actually right now for them.
Oh boy.
They so they've got an IPA, Citra, Mosaic. I forget what else is in it. I think there's something else.
Is this their first beer coming out at this point?
This one, no, this isn't their first one coming out.
Okay.
They've got a nice little stockpile going because they wanted to have a really good launch, and now
Smart.
that they're open, I think they've got. Rory's going to kill me, but I want to say 7 or 8 beers on tap and ready to go.
Really?
Yeah, and-
Do they have a brick? They're already set with their shop. They obviously don't have a brew house, but they have a tasting room.
So they don't have a brewery, so their tasting room's out in Sag Harbor, and the way that they have this is they have an alt prop out of North Fork. So just like how I started with my alt prop in North Fork, after I left, Rory came in, Kid Squid, and through his licensing, he can have a satellite tasting room, so he ended up doing that. And I got to say, and this will be my soapbox, I feel like this is the new model now.
Yep.
I think that there's a lot of risk in having a brick-and-mortar brewery, and I think that a lot of these breweries that are up and coming, they're considering the more contract side, the setting up an alt prop and having a brick and mortar tasting room come out of that from their licensing without having the liability of actually owning the brewery.
Right. And also to build up a portfolio. To save money and to maybe not just open on credit or having a huge debt overhead, and eventually, later down the line, just again look at Root and Branch. Spend how many years now in that contract kind of nomad market, and now they are pumped up and ready to explode. So it's gonna be it is a great model. We saw that with a couple of breweries on Long Island that are open now from that. And Springs is another one. Like eventually they'll probably have their own spot, but for now they're cruising and they're producing good beer. And again, under your leadership, learning a lot of stuff, going through that, and that's really what I want to get to. Gary, how much of the process with your Nelson IPA, we'll get again the breakdown and all that later, did you have in that, and how much do these individual non-brewery people have as input besides just I like these ingredients and this thing? Do they get to go to a brew day? Do they get to be part of it?
100%. And just real quick, like before we get into that, I think
feel free to back up all night. I mean, we
think
say a
the
lot of stuff really
evolution
quick.
of beer is kind of heading that way because like contract brewing some years back was like a dirty word.
Yeah,
you kind of hid that, and you're like, oh, I have to put it on the bottle. I'm dating myself. But it was kind of a dirty word, and now it's like, no, look, this is a business. It's not just, hey, check it out, here's the new band that I was into before you, here's a new thing. It's a business.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think people will give you, hey, I'm contracting this, I'm doing the gypsy brewing, nomad brewing, whatever you want to call it. And it's a little bit, like understood. And for somebody on Rob's end, hey man, I got some eggs and some different baskets.
Yeah.
It just seems to be money smarts.
Yeah.
But
I agree with Gary on this. It's proof of concept.
Yeah.
To be real and honest, like when I started my brewery, that's what I did.
Yes.
I went out there for a year under the alt prop where I didn't actually have a brick and mortar, and I tested the waters for a year seeing if the product would stick. And it's a low risk, high reward. And when it hits, it's like, okay, great. Roll with it.
Yeah. How many do you guys are aware of that have tried that and did not succeed? I don't find there's all that many that do that, but I think it's a relatively
say earlier, probably about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, there were several. But again, back then, contract brewing was a dirty word.
Yeah,
I remember sitting around with brewers that had been around a while here on Long Island, and were very adamant about people that were contracting and had a brewery and they don't even brew their own beer. It's not even theirs, and they're getting these accolades. It's bull, but back then that's the way a lot of guys looked at it. Now guys are coming in and it's a newer mindset.
Well, I was just saying,
but it's also wrestling though. Like wrestling was real when we were growing up.
Yes, it was.
And they kept kayfabe, and whatever. And then you had to peel back the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
So now that's a lot of what people hey, this is this nice, awesome, cool hobby and whatnot. But that's the difference between being a fanboy and being in this. And I'm not talking ill against you guys that are tuning in, but it's just the difference of like, you know what? My life doesn't matter about an Untapped. My life matters on how much beer I could sell. So it's a different thing
in
there.
real life
now,
too.
Exactly. So peeling it back a little bit, now it's not as taboo. It's like, oh, they sold out. No, they did.
Well, that's
they're
it's
feeding
also
their family
because there's so many now.
Yes.
And it is a more flooded market that's what you're doing it for. You're doing it not for the props like we used to when you had 10 breweries on Long Island. Now there's 60 or 40 or so, whatever it is. What was the latest number? A lot?
on Long Island is over 60 some.
60 something, yeah.
Yep.
And the other thing I wanted to say is, you have the fact that it is Ubergeek on the can. So if anyone was to say, okay, well, Synergy Brew Project, either does great or does not, the accolades go right back to Ubergeek in the end. Yep.
100%.
And that was the point.
And that's why I went to him, because I wanted to latch myself onto that.
Yeah.
A bit, because Rob makes phenomenal beer.
Yes.
Plain and simple. And like I said, he was the only person that I went to with this. There were maybe 2 people otherwise that I may have. But it was Rob.
Who were they?
It's
Yeah,
You're
who
with
were they?
Rob. Yeah, so you want to know.
No. It's so again,
Well, let's say Eastern Suffolk or Western Suffolk.
I'm gonna say
Or not Suffolk at all.
Suffolk, and both of them are within 2 miles of each other.
Okay. All right. So close.
So yeah.
Okay.
But again, there was other things that kind of came into play and whatnot, and for me, because again, this isn't my. So Rob and I both have kind of like an out. If one of these beers misses,
both of you left yourselves.
No, seriously. Like if a Synergy Brew Project beer misses, Rob could be like, "Well, it was Gary that told me everything he wanted, and I did what he wanted." And if I'm there being the face, I'm like, "Well, I told him what I wanted, but I couldn't do that to him." But like, so it is like almost like a failsafe. But like, I knew that having the Ubergeek on there, immediately gave this cred, and that's why I went to that. So he has some more room to play, but it's like, hey, you know what? Ubergeek, and it's awesome. So this beer is going to be coming with that quality. It's just got this different vibe and everything like that to it.
Right. So it has just a different spin-off, or like you said, it's an arm of a brewery that is known and established, and that's what people will go to.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of awesome, dude, that third beer right now in the tank.
Oh, yeah, we tried it today. Whoo!
What is it? Well, wait. But you got time, Rob? You gonna hang out for the whole show, or are you gonna?
I mean, literally, I'm at the brew house cleaning up this brew house and prepping for brewing tomorrow. So I'm here.
All right, we're gonna get into the brews after we have a segment coming up in a little bit. But I want to kind of full circle the whole concept of this. So as you're going out and you're marketing this to, let's say, Governor's Comedy Club.
Okay.
What are the types of questions you're going to ask to the beverage handler about, what they would want?
So I think a Governor's...
Or what's the pitch?
Gotcha.
Give us the pitch.
So a Governor's is a little bit different than a, the Black Sheep or like a craft beer bar.
Well, I'll give you this. I bartended here for 6 years.
Yep.
And that's why we're even here.
Gotcha.
So I understand what happens here. When the pumpkin beer started becoming a thing here.
Yeah.
When it was, what's the not the Shipyard, but what's the other one? That's
Southern Tier?
No, the more like it's almost like a light pumpkin. It has the sun and the flower on the handle. I can't think of the freaking name at all. Come on, it's they make other flavors other than pumpkin. They make like a shandy. They make
Leinenkugel?
No. It's God damn it! I'll look it up.
Anyhow,
It's a pull.
It's a thing.
It's a pull thing. Anyway, as a bartender, that was so long ago. No. It's a very common one that they come out with the pumpkin every year. It's one of the first ones to do pumpkin in mass quantity like that. That was very drinkable, very light. Probably like a 6.8 ABV, and it was.
All I keep going back to is Southern Tier was always that
Southern
one.
Tier, Weinbacher was
for
an
me
early
it was,
one.
but for here it was like
Dogfish was an early one.
Travelers?
No,
Post Road was an early one.
way too more mainstream. It's like
shit.
InBev type stuff. It's like that's who owns it. at this
Yeah, I
point.
got you. All right.
So when that came here, that was a huge moment. And I had said to the beverage manager at the time, I said, you really start to think about doing an IPA on tap or something a little different than Coors, Miller, all the stuff. Because that beer, we would go through a keg a weekend.
Yeah. Amen.
And when we have a show, when we have a weekend and we're doing shows Thursday through Sunday, show Thursday night, Friday night, 2 shows Saturday, 2 shows Sunday, or really like 1.5, you're blowing through hundreds of pints. To offer like an alternative of a craft beer, possibly local or a little more mainstream to start to see how it sells, see how it goes. It was received, but it was never put into place as far as I knew while I was here. Moving now with that in mind, and again, I don't know what the tap lineup is here at this very moment. how would you get a place like Governor's knowing that formula to kind of buy into something like this?
So, putting you into the bartenders, back in your bartender job, you're more important to me than like anything.
Right, I'm the point of sale.
Yes. So just in any sales, I need the manager owner for one thing and one thing only.
Say yes.
And that is the word yes.
Yep.
And then I need bartenders, hostesses, and servers.
Yep.
And that's why we tip and we did beyond whatever, because if somebody's like, hey, what do you love? And you're like, well, Gary just fucking was in here last night and he had a $30 tab and he tipped me $50.
Yeah.
You should drink Gary's beer because that's my fucking favorite. So outside of that, but again, in looking at a place like this where people aren't coming here for the beer, it's just what it is. You're coming here for the laughs and the fucking great shows and everything like that, which is tremendous. So if I'm going to talk to you as a bartender and say, hey, check this out. I have this idea, we've been chatting a little bit. I come to a bunch of shows. I know you're kind of into beer and everything like that. You've had this beer and you've had success. So why wouldn't we explore the idea of doing a local craft beer where your margins are probably a little bit better. You could ring a little bit higher, and you have some of that also, like that aura. So when there's a craft beer drinker just coming for the laughs, he doesn't have to be like on Yelp, Brian Callen was amazing, the beer sucked balls. It's like, oh, but I drank Coors, know?
And it's true, and that's how I felt as I would have to go to Corona or Heineken, which I like, which is fine. But that's my default to nothing else is here.
Yeah, so I would come to you and I would pitch those things, and I said, here's my big thing. I'm like, you bring this to your bosses, and this is your idea, and you're a fucking champion. Because now, if they're all about it, you're a champion. And now you and your team are going to want to sell a little bit more of it. If not, you're like, hey, man, it was a sales guy. It sounded cool. I didn't know what you think about it. So you now have an out.
Right.
It's what we all look for.
Yeah.
We all look for that out. LOL at the end of every text. It's an out. Like, told you I was a psychology guy before the sales.
How would you go about, like, again, Rob, maybe you could chime in on this, figuring out, because we have 3 clubs. We have Bohemia, Belmore, and Levittown, the biggest one. Could you do something where it would go across all 3 clubs, one brand across 3 clubs?
I would ask, looking like, what is your bet? Like, if your taps are and bottles, cans are not identical, what are your best and worst sellers?
Right.
What moves, what doesn't? What is the feedback that, oh, do you have this? Like, is there one beer that everybody asks for that you just don't have? Like, maybe you don't carry dogfish.
That's a good.
And it's like, hey, man, you got a dogfish or something? No, we don't. So
if they had dogfish,
we have to take. Well,
I would have bankrupted this place long time ago. Jesus Christ!
Like, there's a lot of things that go into it, so we're gonna have to look at like what benefits you guys, because that's what sales guys are there to do. People like the internet and people like the Amazon and everything like that, but the feet on the street sales guys will never go away because people do things for people, and I am there not just to make my money by selling you more, but it's like, how do I help your business? And I mean that. So we look at what sells, we look at what doesn't sell, and so it's like, hey, if somebody asks for the Bud Miller Coors and it's just that above everything else, well, why don't we take that little step up?
Right.
Like sometimes people are like, oh, well, then maybe you'll try a Yingling. It's that next logical step in craft drinking is I started doing this, then I went here, and then I went there, and I went there. So, hey, why don't we try this that's going to be palatable for everybody? The beer nerds are going to be like, hey, check this out. It's local, and it's a Kolsch. It's local. It's a Pilsner. It's local. It's that. And I'm going to pull for that. And granted, while we can't match Bud Miller Coors keg prices, the craft drinker spends more money.
$3.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a $60 half barrel, and you get, anyway. But the craft drinker spends more money in any restaurant. That's just a given fact by like a ton. And as soon as servers understand that, they're getting tipped on a higher base.
Right.
So I'm just looking at what could potentially work for you guys. You guys get to name it. You guys get to come up with the idea on the can, but then our tattoo guys over at Notorious Tattoo, because it's been a little while in Center H, love you guys. you know, you get to work with that with the cans and you get to name it and then the tap handle. So you guys are there. You're like, hey, I think this is that, whatever. And you work with Rob and I on creating a beer that you want. And it's not just like, hey, here's blah, blah, blah lager that we're just going to call blah, blah, blah Pilsner.
Right.
You know, you guys are invested. You guys come down. We just had, like a dozen people there last Tuesday?
On which? On
At Ubergeek, we had 12 people from an account in New Jersey come down, and they were a part of this.
Right.
So now they're going to want to sell that.
Yeah.
Because they
were part of it.
If I threw in a handful of hops, because one guy just basically dug the whole mash tun, he was super into it, so they let him go. It was really hot. God bless you. But now they're a part of it. You know. So I think just everybody wins. I like win-win-win situations.
I realized I had to look at pictures of handles. Shock top.
Shock top is one. There you go. All right.
I knew it was a mainstream one.
Sure,
it's a wheat, right?
Yeah.
It's like a pumpkin beer.
That's Budweiser.
Yeah.
It had a pretzel on it, right?
Oh no, it's like a half moon with a sun dude, and that's
that's Budweiser wheat.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's Budweiser Blue Moon.
Rob, so you've had a couple people down there. Obviously, Gary had a little bit to do with the first round. On that second round of this, and we'll get into the breakdown of these, the Play Like a Girl, did you have them down there with you, brewing with you?
Well, I think Garrett can actually answer that one a little bit better.
All right, so the first two, the first one was my ideas, and I said, hey, I want to call it this. This is my concept of the can. Rob, do this. The second one, because we had some accounts come in that we had to switch around, was my wife's that actually works at North Fork, and Play Like a Girl. She wanted to do a sour because she loves stouts and she loves sours.
Okay.
Where I love stouts and we love sours.
That is a very polarizing taste profile.
Yes.
If I gave my wife a stout, she would want to just throw it right back in my face. But if I gave her like a sour or a goes or something like that, she's all into it. I could never find anything in between. Maybe a blonde. Maybe a wheat, maybe something in there light. She's okay with things like that. But to go from those two opposite ends.
Well, she's also been in the beer industry for 15 years.
Oh, well,
so she's not your average.
She's found
drinker.
What she likes. Yeah, she's had the time to explore.
Yeah. So originally, as we were looking at it, our first two were going to be let's make amazing beers and let's get it out there. And then the third one was going to be from Nikki Bartales. Okay. And then she has a following, and that was pretty much all pre-sold because of her following and everything. But she wanted to do a blue sour because that's kind of like her thing, blue drinks. Yep. So we couldn't do
that's true.
A stout in July, and we didn't want to do sour. So we were like, hey, guess what? You love gozes.
Right.
So now for the beer geeks, at least on the can, it didn't say sour, where the next one was going to say sour. Okay. We didn't do sour. So she's an incredible softball player. She's out of high school 20 years, still holds New Jersey state batting records. She's badass. Yeah. So we kind of came up with that. And then because it's 2022, we could invent styles. So we called it a summer goza, which is a little bit different. This is not a goza. This is a summer goza. Because, Rob did some magic in when he was trying it every day and whatnot and came up with something and said, hey, we made an executive decision, and I think it's incredible.
Now, what would be the thing that turned that from just a goza to a summer goza? What's that one thing, maybe Rob can answer that did that for you?
Dialing back the salinity,
I
think, right?
Well, who knows when we're just making shit up.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because I'm sitting here and I've drank this whole beer and I think it's still, and I'm like, man, I really don't get any salt.
No. And that's pretty much what it is.
It's very, if it's there, my palate doesn't pick it up.
No. Rob, you want to jump in on some of those brew day fun things that happened to us and what we did? And a lot of it was softball themed. So we kind of came up with hey man, all of us were we need to put some of the sunflower seeds in there. Because you just think of sunflower seeds and whatever.
Softball, baseball, even sunflowers.
Exactly. That's pretty much what it was. So then we were also thinking, and we're kind of saying words, and we're brainstorming and everything like that. And we came up with, I was like, I just think of somebody out in when you're 3 or 4 and you're out in left field picking dandelions. He's like, well, that's exactly it. He goes, dandelion root. And I was like, well, what? So Rob,
when I was 8, just kicking dandelions.
Yeah, exactly. So then Rob, you want to go a little bit more in how we came from a goza to a summer goza?
Yeah. So the funny thing with the dandelion was, you said, "Oh man, dandelions," and at that moment, I was actually looking up dandelion root. So we were both on the same page.
Talk about synergy. And that's all that this beer is right now. That's incredible.
Yeah, so making it a summer Goza, the main idea behind it, I mean, when you hear Goza, you generally do think summer, especially in the U.S., so it may sound a little redundant, but what we wanted to do with it was make it more accessible to everybody. So, you know, the Gozas now have kind of become very lactic forward, like Westbrook. Their Goza, it's fantastic, but it's very, very lactic. Some have gone very high in the salinity, very, very salty. And we wanted to make something that was middle of the road. It was crushable. It was palatable for everybody. So we went for light on the salt, light on the lactic, and just crushable for the sun, but still with a lot of flavor. And I think that the most unexpected thing that came out of this was the fruitiness from the dandelion root. So all that fruit that you're tasting, that's not hop derived at all. I think, I forget what we hopped it with. I think it was just something simple like Galena. All that fruit character, that's all from the dandelion root.
Yeah, there was a handful of hops in there.
When did dandelions taste sweet? I never knew this. Very interesting.
Well, we might have bumped a couple lines of dandelion root powder.
That'll get you going. A couple of those will get you going. Rob, stick with us for just a moment. We have a little bit of a segment that we're going to get to here. Steve's going to ask some questions. I'm not sure. Did we ever have Steve get a question from Rob out there? Rob, did you ever have to answer Steve's 3 questions?
No, I don't think I have.
I think that was after Ubergeek type of thing. So, and I think we might have asked you when you were here with who were you here with at that time? That was did you come with Springs?
No. The restaurant.
Yeah, he was with American Beauty.
American Beauty, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, shit. I'm starting to blur timelines together like crazy. All right, so let's do a quick segment. Little, you know how we do it around here. We're going to be right back with Steve's 3 questions. Or not. Hey, you cool hep cats. Tonight, we bring you a very special presentation. 3 questions with our very own Steve Pominski. Yeah. Steve's questions. 3 questions from Steve. 3 questions. Steve's questions. Go. All right. Well, Gary went to the bathroom for our quick segment, but we'll get back to him in a minute.
Well,
maybe you can explain to the audience, if you haven't heard it already, what Steve's 3 questions means and is all about.
Well, it's funny because I've been probably asking this
year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say at least this year, since January.
But I try to gauge what the brew is thinking, like kind of what's in their mind, where they came from, where they're going, kind of, and it's just through beer. Just from them, what type of beer have they been drinking? Will they drink? Can
they drink? Why they drink?
It's all that, but it's only 3 questions,
right? But we usually ask them one at a time. Yeah, because
Gary's back, so
well, we can start with Rob.
Yeah, we're gonna, and by the way, just want everyone to know. If Rob and I decided to go on Dancing with the Stars, Rob and I win hands down. Yeah. Just going to say, we had a great time at Mr. Comsick.
Oh, yeah, the wedding.
Megan and Paul's wedding. And there are many videos and photos of Rob and I really cutting the rug.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those if you know moments.
Hey, without a doubt. If you know, you know.
If you were there.
If you were there. You'll know. You know it went down.
How was the beer, by the way, Rob, at Paul's wedding?
How was the beer?
How was the beer?
Well, what was it?
It was an awful selection. I mean,
terrible. I mean, it was something.
It's exactly what you'd expect. You
you
go to a brewmaster's wedding. Oh,
just terrible.
I mean,
Nothing but sour. Is it full sour lineup?
It was all Roush beers, actually.
Jesus. No.
Well, let me see. I was drinking those Montauk IPAs. Like, again, going out of style.
Were you?
No.
Oh, I'm not saying. I would have.
Talk about brewed on the East End.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
Oh,
so,
you're not
okay,
the
I'm
only one
done
that
now.
feels that way. But
There
that's
you
okay.
go.
I'm done now.
there you go. And he's out.
Yeah.
All right. So, Rob, what was that first beer, or what was that beer that turned you on to craft beer that you were like, wow, I got to know more about this. What's going on? What is this craft beer world all about? What was
All
that?
right, so I get a little bit of flack about this
Oh, boy.
question because and I get it, but still, I hear people say like, oh, well, that's not craft beer. But the way I look at it is, this is the beer that got me into seeing things a little bit differently with respect to beer, with respect to it not just being yellow piss. So it was actually Blue Moon that got me into it.
And by the way, which isn't a bad beer. I mean,
No, it's not.
If you had
but
to
it's
pick.
also it's a beer that is made with a different yeast strain. You're not
Yep.
just using like a straight like lager strain or a Chico strain. It has a specific yeast strain that gives it its its quality, its characters.
sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good one. I don't
I
think
like
we've
it.
had that one
I
yet.
like it.
Yeah.
Gary, what was that first craft beer that turned you on to craft beer?
So, the first beer is actually an import. It was Paulaner that changed my world.
St.
Again, I'm a
Paulie's?
No, Paul.
I know.
Same
Now I'm just thinking of St. Paulie's girls, and now I'm like, all right.
No, that was just what defined my,
Paulaner.
Yeah, Paul. Like I just kind of, it was what opened up German beer for me, and then I have to say, a couple other imports. But if it was like the craft beer, it was Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, like everybody else's.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
There you go.
but it was
Heard
also
too many
Purple
of our
Haze.
Steve's questions.
Purple Haze was one for me, and I got to say that I never drank spirits or shots or anything like that. I like right now I'll drink anything with rum and fruity and an umbrella in it. While my wife drinks Jameson, but it was
Not a
Purple Haze.
bourbon,
I was
not a
like, what
whiskey
the heck?
drinker.
I
Yeah.
had to be in Jameson class to be able to marry
Yeah.
her. But yeah, it was Paulaner and it was Purple Haze and Sierra Nevada. Like it was kind of like that was what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
And that's what really got
What's
me.
this revolution happening?
Yeah.
Rob,
Do you remember? You didn't answer, did you?
he might have.
No,
but-
you can answer it again. But
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
trying to think of what it was.
Last time it was Newcastle.
Oh no, I might have remembered that one. The nut brown.
Yeah.
It was the side of Don Julio, by the way.
Oh.
With Newcastle.
Ooh.
So,
Is it aged in it? Was
no,
it-
I just used to get it regular Blanco
Okay.
and then side of Newcastle. Because I wasn't an alcoholic, right?
yeah.
I swear.
Needs to wash it down with.
Shot to beer. Shot to beer.
Mr. Rafa. Question number 2. What, as of right now, what is your favorite style?
Ooh, man. Okay.
Oof.
Favorite style? Oud Brewing.
Ooh, nice.
All right.
And
Please elaborate.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically,
what is it
it's-
about that?
Oh man! All right, so picture this. I'm gonna build a picturesque scenery for you.
Ooh, yes.
All right, so yeah, thank you.
Theater
thank
of the
you.
mind.
So take everything you love about a sour.
Okay.
Take everything you love about a mixed culture sour. Something with lactobacillus, pediococcus, cetobacter, all those delicious
Farmhouse.
things. Yeah,
Somewhere
a
in
hint
there.
of vinegar in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then make it on a brown ale base.
Okay. All right, I can get there. I think I can get there if you steered me that way through the channel. I might be able to get there. If you just handed me that and said, I'd have to taste it, obviously, but I don't know if I'd order it by name only.
Yeah, what a beautiful style. I wish more people did them. I get why they don't. It's difficult at times to do the mixed culture. I've got a ton of barrels that are just waiting now to be impregnated with some cultures, and Yeah, so that's definitely the next thing that I'm gonna.
That's
be
coming down the
working on.
pipeline. I see it.
Yeah.
And Rob can no longer trust me in the brew house.
Yeah. So for those that you guys have had my beer. So for those that have had my beer, if you've seen my sours, I call them tarts.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason I call them tarts is because they're not really all that sour. They're not really enamel ripping. There's nothing that besides like the fruit that I add to them, or if I spice them. If I took all of that away and just left it with the lactobacillus, to me it can come off one-dimensional.
Sure.
And what I want in the future is, if I actually call a beer a sour, I want it to be a mixed culture sour, something that's got depth of flavor on its own, where you don't need to add fruit to it, you don't need to spice it. It just stands on its own based on all the characteristics that have been squeezed out of all the bacteria.
Here's an idea.
Yeah.
Synergy Brew Project, Wort beer, ready? Enamel ripping. So metal in parentheses underneath.
So metal.
So metal. That sounds like such an awesome enamel ripping. And we make it like the tartest, sourest and beer that you could possibly put your vinegary.
Bro, that's going to be my next punk band.
Yeah.
We'll get you,
Enamel ripping.
we'll get you to brew it in February, and it'll be ready in 2026.
Yeah. The mixed culture would sit out on a farmhouse for 72 years in a barrel. Go ahead, Steve. I think Gary's turn here.
What's your favorite style right now?
I think overall, if it has Brett in it, if it has Brett yeast in it, I love it. I'm a huge Brett fan. I like that funky, earthy, horse blankety. And again, there's so many different strains of Brett, but I really like that. So Saison is hands down. Saison DuPont is gonna be my desert island beer. Saisons are where it's at, but if you give me something with that
he
Brett,
basically answered
Pete's question. Yeah. Oh, well,
sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry.
I thought you were going to say you basically
I like
answered
to
what
fuck
Pete
up
would answer.
every bell curve.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like that earthy, horse blankety, just a little bit of funk, a little bit of barnyard.
See, for me, it's that cheese doodle and sweat sock flavor.
Isovaleric. Yeah.
Oh, my God. So good.
I love that.
So good, bro.
But I like that in my red wine as well.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, so I would have to say Saison, is probably
the initial funk I like. I've always liked a farmhouse, or I've always liked stuff in that nature. Saisons, of course, depending on how much funk it has. But once you start getting into too many adjuncts with that, it kind of takes away from that.
Sure.
And then I start to kind of fall off a little bit. Yeah. But like Saison DuPont's delicious. I mean, I don't think too many people would argue with that unless they just hate funk in general.
Well, they hate a well-crafted beer. Then.
That's a good point. Yeah. Stupid idiots.
Rob, what's your favorite style right now?
Right now, this is actually really far-fetched.
Right now.
I actually had a new from Abomination, 14% Rocky Road Stout. You could pour that shit on ice cream.
It was that thick, huh?
It was, yeah.
So stouts are really kind of the thing?
Right now, for whatever reason.
Yeah, so in North Carolina, not to go back to that all the time, but my brother-in-law, stout porter fan, he fills the fridge with freaking stouts and porters. Yeah. And I'm like, we're going to be in the pool. But to be honest,
milk on a beach?
Yeah, no, it was actually refreshing to step away from an IPA, because I bought like case after case of Hazy Little Thing, because that's what's big down there. Hazy Little Thing is their Montauk, or their Tiny Juicy, or their whatever, 12-ounce can of IPA, 6.5, 6.8 drinking easyability, everything, and it's cheap as shit. It's like $10 for a case. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do this. We went through at least 3 cases that week, but to break that up, with a nice stout, and they had a coffee porter, it was actually interesting. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I do like the occasional kind of like, reset to then get back into whatever it is. And then we had a couple other ones that were, like I said, 9%er and stuff like that. Into the Void, which was actually really cool.
Yeah.
That was delicious.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you drink coffee?
I drink espresso.
Do you drink espresso in the summer?
I do, but with milk on ice.
All right, so then why don't you like stouts in the summer?
No, I didn't say I don't.
Oh, okay, I got you.
It was nice. I don't typically go out and buy the stout for the pool side or the beach side, right? I mean, you go to the
okay, I
beach
got
side.
you.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying. I like them.
I'm sorry, I was just being a
not
dick to you, and by you, I mean everybody that says, I don't drink stouts in the summer.
No, you
No,
should.
He's the guy that pulls up, with that cooler and he breaks open a KBS.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that might be a little bit more, but like,
2019.
but like again, like oatmeal stouts, I love oatmeal stouts. Like
Yeah.
one of my favorite beers of all time was Blue Point's oatmeal stout, the original.
Oh, yeah.
the original
The OG one was good.
Like that was just insane. Mm-hmm. I could drink that. And
It's
now
always-
I'm fat and I don't like the heat, and I'll drink it anyway.
It's always been like situational drinking for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That if I'm in a
Absolutely.
pool, I want something. I did, like I said, I did the sour. I had a bunch of easy drinking
Yeah.
IPAs, stuff like that. I'll do some pilsners. I'll do some kolsch's. I'll do all that's fine. I don't typically just think of let's have a stout while we're in 90-degree weather in a pool.
Yeah.
But now that I did it, it was actually a great little palate cleanser and delicious, and it really didn't drink all that heavy. I mean, it was like probably a 6.5 or something like that, so it wasn't like kill you, and it just kind of made its way into the repertoire. It was nice.
It's like anal. You just got to get talked into it once, and
then that's it.
And then it's not just on your birthday.
And then
Sorry, I'm gonna take this ship where you didn't want it to go.
no, that's fine. Did we ask Rob the third question?
No.
No,
Okay.
sorry.
So, Rob, you go to a bar, you go to a restaurant. What's that one beer, other than something that you brew, that you would hope to find on tap? And it could be anything from anywhere and anytime.
Whoa.
Yeah, bro. That's a deep question.
Well, that's why we said Gary answered that question already, because
Kinda, yeah.
he's going to the desert island.
With fucking DuPont Saison.
But did I actually make that on tap?
Oh man, that's a
Just
fuck. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Stickler for technicalities.
yeah.
All right, so it's a beer
Dead
that I
air,
would
dead air.
find on tap. That's
Okay.
not mine.
Yep.
That I'd be really excited to find. That's the question.
Yes.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
There's so many fantastic beers. This is a hard one.
There is.
Damn it. Shit, I'm just giving you a ton of dead air. Sorry.
Well,
It's all good, brother. That's what editing's all about, and Mike's really good at it.
Yeah, I mean, like there's
no, I wouldn't edit
all
that.
right. So I get excited. I get really excited if I stumble upon Curio on tap. I'll say that.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Oh hell yeah, man! Look at that.
Yeah.
Little Rob Todd love. Woo!
Would that be it? Would you have to?
I mean, there's so many things that I get excited about.
Yeah.
Let's
Would
see,
that be a tough one to find? That would be a tough one to find, right?
That would, yeah.
Yeah. But if you
Saison DuPont. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta. That's
That'd be
an amazing beer.
All right. Pretty good.
I did actually find. I had Saison DuPont on tap at Amanda Danielson's birthday party. I think it was.
Oh, my gosh.
Way back when.
Where was it?
In whose backyard was it? It was in Dana's backyard. So
find a
Amanda from Hoptron back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
They found a keg of it. Oh, well. the hot
So
rod.
she had a keg
Think
of
of
Saison DuPont and a keg of Sip of Sunshine, and that's like, and that was back when it was like, oh man, you can't get this shit.
Yeah. Half barrel or sixtel?
It was a
Of Sip.
It was a slim.
Oh, yeah, sixtel. I hate that term. Call the sixtel.
Yeah, but no, that was an amazing day. Oh, even though it was like overcarved and hard to pour, I didn't give a shit.
You friggin' scientist. This guy.
He's just sucking off the back end of the stage.
I just love that he had to bring that up, though. Yeah. Even though it was overcarved and fucking hard to pour, but I was drinking the fuck out of that thing.
Just be in there, cornflakes, man.
That's great, brother. Yeah. What is that one beer you hope to find? And it could be from any time, anywhere, any place.
So,
Other than what you're involved with.
no, I got you. Of course. So, I could tell you a brief little story about. So, Jill and Kevin, my sister and brother-in-law, came down when I was living in South Jersey. We went out in Philly to get some Pliny the Elder.
Oh,
This
Monk's
is back
Cafe.
in the we were at Local 44, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
So they were like, I want a Pliny. I had lived down there, so I'd had it a couple times. I saw this beer called My Blueberry Nightmare. and it was kind of an old Bruin, like Rob was saying, and it was so much in it, and I got one of them, and it was like the most amazing thing I'd ever had. And Jill and Kevin, who had not had Pliny ever yet, pushed him aside and ordered my Blueberry Nightmares. That was batch 1. I don't know. So if I ever found that again on draft, I've seen it again in bottles and whatever.
Who
it was
made
some Italian crazy craft something or another. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
So back again, we're going back 10 years now. To ignore Pliny on tap for something else is a big deal. Yeah. Other than that, because that was just like one of my favorite surprise. Hey, let me try this. It sounds incredible. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with the standard. Like wherever I am, I want to try something from a local brewery that I haven't tried. You know, I mean, I like that. I just enjoy it. So I mean, I'm looking for something new rather than whatever. If I'm on a desert island, I'm gonna fight and bring my Saison DuPont.
Bringing that Saison DuPont.
If I'm going somewhere
what.
else, I want to try something again. I don't have Untapped. I'm not like ticking, but I want to try something that I haven't tried yet. And yeah. So.
But then you're stuck with it forever. On that desert island, at least.
Saison DuPont, I don't think I'd ever get tired of.
No, I agree with you. But anything else that you would try, like let's say you're at a restaurant,
Unlike when he gets tired of anal.
right? and then
But then it's only on Mariah's birthday that she.
back to the birthdays again.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I find like when I go to a bar, I do want to try something new for sure. So I'm down down on vacation. I'm looking for those new things. So that's why I asked somebody that seems to have a little bit of knowledge about things locally. You know, what would you drink? Like you said before, or here's what I like. Give him the adjectives. I like IPA. I want something low. I want something high. I want something that's going to be really hazy or something West Coast. I found a nice West Coast, which was delicious. This, I think, what we were saying before when I was telling you I was the bartender here for a long time. That point of reference, point of sale, when they're asking for those things, those are the most important people to turn to people to craft beer. And Rob, who's about to answer question number 3, he's part of that business, part of that thing that really does allow people to have the moment. You take a lot of time. You take a lot of time with me, and I know beer. Yeah. For the people that don't, I mean, you are that first person in line to get that beer in that cooler to the person walking out the door. Yeah. First answer Steve's question, and we'll get into that.
Wait, hold on 1 second, just because Mariah is now watching, so she goes, my Blueberry Nightmare is Barifico del Ducato.
Oh
yeah. Oh, and also dude in a Less Than Jake shirt. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my wife. All right,
see?
now you got to stop looking.
Oh, I love Less Than Jake is
that dude is Mike.
I'm just translating exactly how she said.
She's only allowed now to
She
watch
just got
the
done with
Instagram.
BJCP class. So, anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to shit on your answer.
I know. Less Than Jake's my favorite band of all time.
There you go.
Of all time. I got
He
into
even,
it when
he
I
even
was.
has socks to have Less Than Jake.
Yeah.
My wife is a sucker for horn section.
Yeah, me too.
She's
I'm a big ska fan. I was.
100%.
But even goes beyond that. So we had I work at Jones Beach Theater. We had freaking why can't I think of the band? Not Earth, Wind and Fire. Chicago. Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Dude, Chicago is amazing. And I listened to a lot of the old stuff just from the radio growing up. My parents listened to Chicago and stuff like that. Never appreciated the talent that fucking horn
Lord.
section has.
Oh my God.
Those 3 guys blew me away. I'm like, on point. First of all, if no one's ever played a horn, you have no idea how difficult it is to play a fucking horn. Yeah. A horn is not easy. It's probably the hardest instrument type to play. I play guitar, piano, and all sorts of other instruments. I tried to play a horn. I felt like a complete idiot. It's so difficult with the subtleties of your lips and where your finger positioning is, and it's not all the way, it's some of the way.
Yeah, embouchure.
Forget it. Yes, thank you. Look at you. It's to me, it's and unfortunately, I do know Mandarin Chinese, but to most people, it's Chinese. It's crazy. Yeah. It's just stupid amount of information you have to know for just a simple horn with 3 buttons. My son had to choose for band next year what he wants to play.
Drums.
No, he wanted to play drums.
Drums. That's what I'm talking about.
Guess what? They
Drums.
only pick one freaking drum kit, and he had some sort of parents paid off or some shit. I have a drum kit at my house. Kid plays drums since he was 3.
Yeah.
Dude, are you kidding me? You never even tried these kids out? You just give that kid drums? Get out of here. I think he got stuck with the trumpet. I'm like, dude, you're screwed. We're going to be listening to forever. He's never going to get, I mean, I hope he does, but he's never going to. He's had a guitar in his hand. He's had a bass in his hand. He's had drums in his hand. He's got that stuff in him. Give him something. I said violin.
I was actually
That's
just
a rough
violin.
It's tough.
Well, then you just got to get now play with
nothing.
the fiddle and get to the Irish pump.
Well, right, there you go.
Oh, now you're talking,
Mr. O'Toole.
Yeah, you get a little drop kick, a little
Exactly, Fog Molly, one of my favorite.
We actually listened to drop kick in the pool this past week. It was
Shit.
the whole
You
album.
start kicking ass in the water.
Dropkick Murphys and an Imperial Stout in the pool in
That's
July.
what
You and I are going to be fast friends,
Dude,
man. I know we've just officially met today.
awesome. And of course, I had Boston's for your wife. The Boston's to me
one of my faves
was
ever.
another one of the OGs, and R.I.P. to the Boston's. They're not no more, but unfortunately, those three bands. And I went to school up in the Boston area. I wouldn't say I went to Boston, but I saw Dropkick in Boston. I've seen Boston's up in.
I've been to a couple of home down
Maine.
throwdowns.
Actually, I saw the Boston's. And Les and Jake, I've seen every year for pretty much since 1994 or 5.
Yeah.
Were you a morphine fan? Are you of the age of morphine? All right.
No,
All
not
right.
really.
I got you.
No.
Shit, we even saw Les
Totally
Jake
different.
last year.
Yeah, we saw Les and Jake last year, and I saw him this year.
AC Beer Fest.
Yeah, I played
Yep.
AC.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you guys went to AC.
Awesome.
I'll tell you, though, in that whole thing,
Knuckle puck.
other than Mariah, one of my dream dates of all time is Monique Powell.
Really?
Save Ferris. I worship her.
Yeah, she was very good. I
One of the
enjoyed.
very few people that I was awestruck,
I
could not
enjoyed.
find words talking to her.
There was dance hall crashers were very good at the time. Now we're getting into like some deep freaking ska fucking cuts. Just-
But anyway, Rob, what is that?
Sorry about that.
What
I am
is
not going to
that?
text Mariah the
One
number to
beer,
call in.
brother.
Shout out to
I was
Mariah.
going to
Thanks
say
very much.
Curio, but like me and Rob vibe on that.
Yeah.
But we actually had, when I actually first started hanging out at Ubergeek, we had some bread of mice and sours from Anchorage.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I still have them sitting in cases, not light struck whatsoever, and I'm going to bring them probably next Tuesday. Yeah,
to in industry night.
Oobs.
Do a little bottle sharing.
Good to know.
Yeah, I'm there. Excellent.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
What would be that one beer right now that you would
Right now?
that you would hope to have
On tap?
on tap?
Shit. Because it's going to be like...
And
That's a question
You
that's
say
like
fucking
very...
Dogfish 60, I'm gonna
No.
fucking punch you right in the head. Because he loves that beer so much.
I do.
it's a good beer.
I do love that
it
beer
is.
so much.
Good hand.
I'm going to have to go back to Barry and Sand City collab Ishcray. That Ishcray was fantastic. Rob, you okay?
What's up?
Are you okay?
Yeah, dude, we just heard something. Did you flush?
No. I'm actually milling grain right now. I just threw myself off of mute for a second.
No, that was awesome. I thought maybe you fell or something.
No, your arm went in there or something.
Listen,
That
whatever you
was your
do,
stomach.
if you
I
want,
didn't eat today.
I'm trying to save
if you
everybody
want
from
easy
the noise.
promotion, videotape it and send it to Wort Wrangler. If anything goes wrong, he'll repost it. Guaranteed. It'll be 100 likes within 24 hours.
Thousands of it.
Yeah, 1,000 likes.
Like that clip I sent you the other day.
And I sent one to him, and he reposted it immediately.
What?
Did you see that,
What a fucking save on that guy.
dude? The
Those two
amount
dudes.
of beer and the pressure coming out of that thing.
Yeah.
Was that a tri-clamp that they threw on
yes.
that? And yes, it was. It was a stoppage.
So they had a 40-barrel tank. Lost
saw
its
that.
freaking Zwickle.
Oof.
So now it's just
Going out, yeah.
coming out, and these guys fought
a
it.
fire hose.
They wind up getting a valve
Two guys,
on
right?
it. Had the valve open, got it on, got a tri-clamp, and then shut it.
Yeah.
Probably lost, I don't know, maybe.
30, 40 gallons.
Yeah, I mean,
It went
Kind
down
of like when I
quick.
met Monique Powell.
Yeah.
You lost 30, 40
you
gallons?
lost 30, 40 gallons right in your pants.
So yeah.
Right in the pants.
Sorry.
I
Told you I'm going to steer the ship into uncharted waters.
Those are some saturated socks, let me tell you.
Hey, man. They were
Why
less than
when
Jake
you
socks.
walk do you socks squish?
Ma, don't touch those socks.
Don't touch them. I'm going to lean them up against the wall for a little bit.
Those are my special socks.
They're walking on their own.
Rob, so let's get into some beer here. So we
how did the sperm get across the road? In my sock.
the first beer that you guys had brewed together with Gary was the Nelson Hop IPA. Talk to me about this. I know he was telling us before that he gave you, a couple of concepts, some ingredients, some adjectives. How did you come up with the recipe for this?
Oh man. Okay, so yeah, Gary gave me a bunch of buzzwords and things, and I don't know. It kind of just brought an image of
Buzzword. Sweat.
The password is foreskin.
It's a vegan brewery, though.
No. It's like grape.
yeah. So he's saying all these words, and
He's saying words at me.
he's just throwing words. Yeah, exactly. He whipped out a dictionary, just picking a page.
Ripped out a Tyrannosaurus. I mean, a thesaurus.
So he's throwing all these words at me, and I guess it's just triggers I don't know, my inner brewer. I feel like a lot of brewers out there, they have a hard time appreciating beer sometimes. They kind of sit there and they're always overanalyzing things. So he's throwing all these words at me, and it's just kind of drawing up some imagery, and eventually it just kind of pieced together this beer, and it's all based on just I guess I don't know I'm almost a decade into this now brewing, based on all of my experiences. I'm just like, all right, that word triggers this memory from this kind of beer, that triggers this, and then it's like, all right. And Gary was like, oh, I really want Nelson in there. I'm like, okay, cool, we'll totally highlight that as well. And it just kind of was born from that. So I'm not one of those people. I don't do pilot batches on things.
I love that, bro.
Yeah.
I never did either.
Balls to the wall.
Never did either.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
well, that's trust in your craft, right? That's trust in your skill set.
Exactly.
You know, you trust it. Like, I know if I do this and this is the way it's going to go, the direction. I have some leeway here and there. I got a little sliding scale of, could it be a little more of this, a little bit of that? I know what to do if it goes to there and pull it to there. But that's trust in your skill, dude. That's again, 10 years, a decade worth of experience.
And you went out on a limb with like the oats and the white wheat, like what? Because when then you told me that part, I was like, holy crap. And
I was also trying to break my mash down. That's right.
Yeah, because like that first beer, I think you said you put in 30% more oats and wheat than you ever had in any other brew.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was starting to max things out, and I'm just like, I felt like I was going a little crazy. And I mean, for those of you out there that have had a stuck mash, and especially a stuck mash on the commercial side without rakes, I just really wanted to avoid that.
Yeah.
Especially since I need to be home by 4 o'clock to get a kid off a bus.
Tempting the beast. Tempting the beast.
Something like that.
Slate it.
So what I ended up doing, actually, I reached out to Paul Komzik because Paul also is a bit of an eccentric, like myself, and if anybody had done the numbers that I was trying to do, it would have been Paul.
Yeah.
And he talked me off the ledge. I totally scaled everything back because I was about to just jump in and do something stupid. What was I trying to? I was trying to do like 50 or 60% flaked wheat, like all.
Let's cut that in half. Let's go down to 25.
Knowing my dumbass, I probably wouldn't have thrown rice hulls in at all. Oh man, actually, all right, ready for this? One of the craziest ways I ever freed up a stuck mash was way back in the day when I was brewing on the Blickman pilot system.
Wait, can I guess what you used?
What's that?
Can I guess what you used?
Yeah, sure.
Did you use a one of those plumbing tools to get rid of crap in a pipe?
A snake?
A snake.
Nope. Even better.
Oh.
Yeah. So let me draw you another picture. So the Blickman system, the 2-barrel with the extensions on the top. So if you've ever seen this thing, it stands. Oh, geez, it's probably about 5 to 6 feet tall.
Okay.
And then put it on top of a 2-foot burner.
Okay.
All right. So this one wasn't. It didn't actually have the burner heating up on the mash tun, but just we're visualizing height here. This thing's about 8 feet high, roughly. So we've got a stuck mash, and the thing is, God, I want to say it's like 7,000% rye. And
I just walked right into that one.
Yeah, you sure did.
The beta glucans are just off the charts, and I remember being desperate and be like, we need to free this up. This has got to get free. So what did my dumbass come up with? I grabbed a black garbage bag, and I put it over my arm in the upper half of my body. And I decided to invert my body through the top and down into the mash so that I can push my hand all the way to the bottom, to the false screen, to the false bottom, and scratch at it. Now, so that
how
the liquid
hot is
could
it in there?
actually...
It's gotta
You're giving birth
Oh,
to
it was
a
incredibly
calf?
hot. Oh, it was a terrible fucking idea. it was a worse idea than
Wait,
watching...
I want to know how you
Billy-
suspended yourself. How tall was this thing?
No, this thing was like 8 feet. I was inverted in this thing. It was stupid.
Oh my god!
One of the worst. So that was
Brewer
actually
found dead in mash tun.
This is
Face
so
first
tough.
down in the
Apprentice decides to brew a beer with remains.
remains.
Yeah. So I instantly regretted my decision as soon as I did that. Did I get it free? No, I didn't.
And that's the sad part.
Absolutely
Womp, womp, womp.
No.
You never
But,
lose. You just learn lessons.
Yeah.
I remember taking.
Never do
what
that
did I
again.
take? I took mesh screens to kind of like filter it out one handful at a time to see if I could actually still get the beer brewed. The beer was eventually brewed. It actually took about 18 hours, the whole entire brew day.
Oh my god! You're a
And
glutton for punishment, aren't you?
It's crazy because the amount of slickness from the rye was so off the charts from any rye beer I've ever had, to the point where we thought it was bad. Like, oh, this beer's terrible. We ruined this beer. But in retrospect, I don't think we did. I think we just went absolutely crazy with rye slickness, and we just never have experienced that much before.
And you eventually put that out. What was that beer?
That beer was You'll Shoot Your Rye Out. Remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
I remember that.
So you want to be a brewer, do you?
Yeah.
So you want to be a brewer.
Want to be a brewer, huh?
So Rob, can you just also kind of refresh my memory? Because when we were talking and we were going back and forth on Hops for People 2, and you were looking for another hop, I wasn't familiar with Brew 1 at that time.
Yeah, Brew 1. Okay,
And,
so shout out to... sorry. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no. It was cool because I wasn't familiar with that, but you're like, yo, I really think this is going to complement like the Nelson and everything like that. And again, that is an incredible hop, and I wasn't familiar with it, so that was my first experience. I don't know if you guys are you guys familiar with Brew 1? Because I wasn't at that time, and it was just incredible. And then when we smelled them together, holy shit! That was a different moment. That was a moment in my beer life that was holy shit.
Yeah, Brew 1 is a really nice hop, and I would say that Hops for People 2, hold on, it's going to sound like I'm falling into a mill. I'm just turning it off.
Again? No.
There we go. So that was the second time that I've used Brew 1 in a beer. The first beer that I've done it with is Casualty of Circumstance. It's our, I guess, more sessionable IPA at 6.4%.
Yeah,
but,
sessionable.
Yeah, more sessionable.
Yeah.
But shout-outs to Mark from Kings Park Brewing. He's another one of our contracts.
Can I say something really quick? Do you know, I don't know if Steve even knows this, do you know that Mark's show, Kings Park Brewing, on our program, is the most listened to show ever?
Wow.
It has something like over 500 downloads.
How the hell did that happen?
Just that episode.
Just wait till this is released.
I don't
Did he
know.
murder somebody?
Challenge accepted.
I think was that when
Challenge
we did
accepted.
that snuff film type
Five-
of thing where we,
No,
we murdered somebody live on air?
I think that was,
one?
wait, no, and if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the last shows before COVID.
Oh.
It was the Eastern Front was our official last show before COVID, and he was right before that, and I forget who else was on it with him, but I look at the numbers sometimes, and I go back and I go, that's still number one. There's some that are creeping up there, but I think it was over
I'm gonna let Mark know
500
that. That's
downloads. I know. I wanted to reach out to him recently and show him analytics or something like that. Dude, I don't know who you told, but everyone, whoever you told, everyone listened. It's still to this day the number one downloaded episode, and you would never think just Kings Park again, another contract brewery, and that's why we don't give up on these kind of projects, because this is the type of stuff that even people that aren't in the industry are listening to. I would say our audience is about 50-50 to this point. of we have a lot of breweries listening to us for sure, because obviously they want to listen to their show. But again, they also want to hear some of the secrets and hear some of the information stuff from other brewers. This is that kind of like centralized collaboration. But there's a ton of other people that want to just know what our original intention was for this show. It was to bring that idea to the audience that doesn't get that experience at the brewery. You know, you don't have that opportunity to be one-on-one with a brewer to find out every question you could possibly have.
And they all do. They all want to be one-on-one with the brewer.
It's so difficult. And it's
hey, is the brewer here?
No.
Hey, is he?
No.
Is he?
And listen, fine, there's nothing wrong with asking.
He's home moving
Yeah.
before he has to get back to work.
Yeah.
He's inverted in a Blickman right now.
Well, that's my first question.
Blickman.
That's my first question. What's a Blickman? Oh, like,
Fuck.
come on. No, I don't want to have to deal with that. But yeah, that's my point. It's like there's a little bit of both of those. Whatever that show was, it definitely ignited something in that family or whatever, and you would not think that from a contract brewer. Rob, what is the do they have anything on the schedule for Kings Park?
Yeah, actually, what am I doing? I'm doing their Summer Smash Ale. It's being brewed on Thursday. Wait,
What-
this Thursday?
What's
Hold
the
on.
single malt? What's the
Yes,
single
this
hop?
Thursday.
What's the malt? What's the hop?
What's the hop? I don't know. Let me grab the label. Hold
Oh,
on.
he's right there.
yeah, he's in the
He just got out of the mill. That's the best He just out of the mill. He's
backed
See,
himself
dude,
out.
we're peeling back that curtain, and it's Oh, How the Mighty Will Fall. Here's your number one podcast.
Hold on. I got to dig through. See, that's the downside to contract brewing. You get stuck with a ton of labels.
Yeah.
See, that's where you just, when they go to leave, you put it in their hands and go, this is yours.
I hope I put the right label on the right beer.
All right, so right here, let's see. It's a single malt, single hop, and it's a Zaka.
Zaka.
Ooh, I do love me some
All right.
Zaka.
Huh. He's brewed with a Zaka before, if I recall. His IPA has a Zaka in it. If I'm not mistaken. I don't fully the Kings Park with the tie-dye stuff. I think that one has a Zaka in it. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
St. Johnlin, I think that is.
Yes.
Oh, let me grab that label too. Hold on.
Because he's brewing that too.
Why don't you just go through the library there?
Brewer / fact checker.
He's got the Book of Ashanti out there.
I'm gonna say no.
Oh.
El Dorado and Medusa.
Medusa. I knew it was another.
alright.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for fact-checking that for me, sir.
No problem. You want me to check anything else?
In a timely fashion.
I still think Brew One is better.
Hopefully Mark doesn't care that we're giving away some secrets here, but I'm sure
Nah,
he...
it's print on the label.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I wanted...
Now let me ask you.
Oh.
On that label,
Yeah.
does it say where it's brewed?
Where it's brewed?
Yeah.
Let me see. It should. It better.
Yeah, it has to.
Well, there's a little...
Yes,
You better
it does.
just say the yes,
Yes, it
because
does.
if not, there's some.
Well, no, there's a little thing going around on the island where a bunch of breweries are saying it's brewed in can in their facility, and it was never brewed in can in their facility. It's brewed at a contract brewery and canned in that facility.
Well, then you could tell me off the air, and I will start because you know me well enough. I will scream from the rooftops, "Fuck you" to anybody, and that's
Who's not
fine.
doing it the correct way.
Well, unless Rob is like, "Hey, you can." So much so he's basically the only person now that could be like, "Hey, you got to dial this back," because I do
Talking
represent
off the ledge.
a little bit of Ubergeek and whatever.
So he's
And
got a little bit of the
whatever, but-
reins. He pulls back on you.
So guess what? We are going to get the new number one podcast where people tell me secrets and Gary will just be the fall guy, spilling all of the shit.
it does say it, though, right, Rob?
Yeah, it does say it.
All right, good. So, yeah, there we go. All right. Thank goodness.
We're actually
We're all in there.
ranking an Ubergeek, aren't
Yeah.
we?
Yes,
but,
yeah, we
but
have-
Hold on, we're a little off track. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, so Mark from Kings Park.
Yeah.
Reason why I bring up Mark is Mark exposed me to a hop, HBC
monkeypox.
630.
Oh, I saw that on one of A6. No, not on these. Not the ones we have here.
Yeah.
It's on that one?
Is it on that
in
one?
this one.
You sure?
Rob, we got Shades of Green, we have Play Like a Girl, and we have the Hopsteiner.
Okay, so
H
yes,
in
so you
front of
won't
us.
find HBC 630 on any of those.
No,
So that
no,
was
we
the-
have
that was one of
HSO
Yeah, that was-
9326.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that hop was one of the original hops that I put in Casualty of Circumstance. But then at one point, after brewing it, you couldn't get it anymore.
Really?
So, yeah, and, Mark introduced me to this hop, and I'm like, fucking asshole, I can't get it now.
Fucking prick.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
Thanks.
So I was looking for something that would be equally as interesting, and then I stumbled on Brew One. And Brew One is fun because it's got this wonderful pear character to it, nice pear notes, and with a slight tropical bass note. And when Gary was talking about Nelson, I'm like, oh man, this should because for me Nelson just comes off wine, grape, that kind of character.
Right.
And I just thought that the pear with the grape, I felt like that would just be a wonderful marriage. And so if it wasn't for Mark at Kings Park, we would not have been using Brew One.
There you go.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Trace your lineage.
Well, thank that guy.
Yeah, and in what? And it's funny. It happened to me with Lithology. We brewed a beer together, Daler Ale,
Oh, the Daler. I
and it
remember
was
Daler.
a tremendous hit.
Yeah.
And
They got to bring that back.
well,
Where
here's
you
the
can't find that hop anymore?
that hop was being grown on 37 hop, or 27 hop,
27.
and he stopped making
Making
it.
it, yeah.
It was Thor,
He got bigger. Oh, that's right. It
was a
did have
Thor hop.
Thor in it. Fuck.
and I bought everything he had. And then
We got to get out there.
and then he
We gotta get
started
out there to
growing weed,
27.
and
Yeah, and now he's killing
now he's
it.
real happy,
Now he's selling CBD freaking pre-rolls and such.
bro.
If we're going to start talking about hop gripes, I got some hop gripes.
Oh yes, I love hop gripes.
But we also
you know what
were
grinds
drinking the
my-
Hop Steiner
You
beer.
know what really
Rob.
grinds
my gears?
Let's keep this positive because we were also drinking the Hop Steiner.
Yeah.
So there, you had some fun little new hop there.
Yeah.
No,
what-
those are some fantastic hops. I'm so glad they exposed me to those. But I do want to just quick departure. Steve.
Yes.
Steve, do you remember, all right, so Whipple Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you ever experience their hop mystery?
No.
No. Okay. Jason over at Strong Rope exposed me to this hop. Dude, it's 25% alpha acid.
What?
25% just in a 90 just pellet.
Wow.
No cryo, nothing crazy. It was 25%, and it's a New York State hop, and it was just this beautiful fruit character. It was so good, and you can't get it now.
Of course not.
because it was
Of course
too
not.
good.
Because it
Everyone bought
was
out.
so good.
Too good.
Because you didn't get online in Brooklyn at 2 a.m. to get a 4-pack of those hops. Sorry, I'm a twat.
The hop of fields and what people are doing and putting together. Is there anything that could be comparable? Do they come out with new strains all the time?
All the time.
And so, is it hard to
You know
keep
what
up
it is?
with?
It's just what they do. They just crossbreed
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
and it takes years, but they've been doing this for so long that they just like some of the ones that Rob's been using.
So Rob,
they just have numbers until they give it a name.
So you have in everything is clicking now, Rob. We're drinking that. We drank that already. It's gone. You have HS 09326. I mean, this just sounds like the year 3032, and everyone's got a barcode on their wrist. What is it about that hop? Where the hell did that thing come from? How do you stumble upon something like that to know what to do with it and where to go with it?
All right, so shout out to my Hopsteiner rep, Heather.
Yeah.
So she stopped by, and we were just bullshitting, and she was like, "Oh, hey, we just, are you familiar with us?" I'm like, "Absolutely, I freaking love, your Eureka and Denali, or formerly Denali, now Sultana."
Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. So,
Sorry, you were chewing.
They actually changed that from Denali.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's not Denali anymore; it's Sultana.
That's crazy.
All right, well, I'll go into the story. So apparently, there's I haven't fact checked this, but so anecdotal. Don't crucify me. So apparently, there's a Denali brewing, brewing company.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Did they give
and-
We
Did they
follow
give
him.
him a cease and desist?
What's that?
Did they give him a cease and desist?
I believe that's what happened. Yeah. So there was some
my
issue
God.
where it was like, "Hey, we don't want you using that name because." Well, think of it like this: like, what if somebody makes a beer with Denali? Like, oh man, Denali sucks. And then when it's a beer, it's like, oh, well, that sucks because that's that person's brewery. And then I got a little excited because I'm like, man, I would love it if they named the hop Ubergeek. That'd be so cool. And then yet again, I'm like, wait, but what if it sucks?
Yeah.
Well, don't pay attention to the untapped rating, and then you'll be fine.
Wait if it.
No one will give a
what
shit.
if it tastes like ash cheese and
and
You
Gary's
know what? I
socks.
use it as a
And Gary's
way to get around it.
Oh God. Hey, it's pretty quick. It's pretty nice.
It's floral. Gary's got a floral taint.
I quickly, Rob, you're good with what you were going on your hop tirade?
Wait, you want me to backtrack to griping about hops, or do you
No.
want me to talk about
I was wondering if you were done with that train of thought.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm done with that. Okay, so
You had one gripe
actually
and it
everything
was-
is clicking.
Yeah.
So what I was most excited about for this is the Salvo products.
Yeah, so you
and
have-
trust me, they're not paying me to say this.
Yeah, Eureka
This is
salvo,
something
right?
sure
And
they're
the CTZ
not.
salvo.
So we use Eureka and some CTZ, and what's really cool about it is that it's it comes in a tin, and
Dipping?
this
You
is
dipping?
what's that?
I said, are you dipping?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Packing
Just,
fat lippers?
a little bit of chalk.
little bit shaw.
So it comes in a tin, and I'm not really one to use just anything that's just not in a flour form.
Yeah.
So
No,
I was like, I'm a little hesitant, but no, it's a product where there's no bitterness to it. It's all just flavor. The only downside to it is that you have to put it in hot side. You can't throw it in like a dry hop or anything like that. Yeah. So I even asked Heather, I was like, well, but what happened? What if I just did it?
What if I did do that and I broke the law?
And she's like, no, I don't recommend it. Please
Well,
don't
then it
do that.
becomes a
I'm like, "All right,
Synergy
fine."
Brew thing, and it's my fault.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, Gary told me to put it in
Goddamn
cold.
Gary and his adjectives break the rules.
Gary told me to put it in fucking fermenter.
You always have an out there. You can always say it.
Yeah, and there you go. See, I never have to do a pilot batch because if something does suck, I was like, well, it was a Synergy beer. It is Gary.
You've clearly met Gary. Clearly, this is the problem. So
You
there you
clearly
go.
see what's going on here, a.k.a. Gary the Out Rosen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Heather, so I asked Heather what the dosing rate on this stuff was, and she, was like, 1 tin per 15 barrel, whatever, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, so I can throw all of it in? She's like, no, don't throw all of it in. I'm like, but I really want to throw all of it in.
But I wanna. Come
I'm like,
on.
it's here, it's in front of me, please.
Come on.
Dad said it
So
was
our
okay.
compromise is that I threw almost all of it in.
I didn't do what she said, but I didn't do what I said. So we're good.
We compromised.
Yeah, but
And
I'm very happy with how it came out.
That's what- that's all that
actually
matters.
aged. It aged a little bit. So when it first was packaged, I was like, "Oh, it's a good beer." And then I gave it like 2 weeks, and I was like, "This is great."
Wow.
It just can conditioned really well, and I feel like the hop flavors came into a really nice harmony with a little bit of time.
Nice. We've enjoyed both of them, and now we're cracking open. What do we got here? This is Shades of Green. Ooh,
Yeah, it's very good.
Shades of Green to me hits my palate a little closer. Sorry, Stephen, I just finished the rest of this.
All good,
Of
brother.
course, you know why. Hop number one, Citra, and that's my go-to
Citra
hop.
bastard.
Since we're talking about hops here, that is my go-to hops. What is your go-to hop, Rob?
Definitely not Citra.
Oh, balls. But you did something so good.
No, it's funny. So this is my first time really using Citra.
Yeah.
I've never really done it just because I don't know. I like it. It's got a good character to it, but you can just throw it anywhere. Just throw it around. Throw it in the dry hop, in the boil, just around the brew house. It doesn't matter. You just throw it and it's great.
Throw it down
And I feel like that always bothers
Gary's
me.
pants. It'd be great.
Yeah, Gary's. Yeah. So
My taste
the
smells like
fact that
Citra.
you could just use it anywhere just really, it got to me. So recently I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. So actually, Shades of Green was the second time I used it. First time was learning to embrace the unconventional.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the subtext on that is by embracing the conventional. So that's why I ended up throwing the Citra in there. I almost also threw Mosaic in, but I didn't really want to, so I threw in some more
Sexy
Zaka.
hop. And I assume that turned out delicious because those are my favorites.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Citra
those have
Mosaics.
been gone, long gone.
So what?
I kind of miss it.
What are your favorite hops? What is that one hop you just like? I just love that hop.
Could that be Steve's
Oh,
4
me?
questions? So I have to redo the music track?
Ooh,
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, can we get something swanky going?
Just say Sabra.
Little skilly dap doo dap.
skidabop.
I'm going to have to redo all production on a whole new track now. God damn it.
Sabra.
Yeah,
What's your
you need to do like
favorite
some
hop?
sort of like fadeaway right now with like an ocean scene and me laying there. With, like
Rob is just so like undercover hilarious. Like he's a funny dude, but he is just.
Well,
He has said some of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my life.
I'm going to say this, Rob. You have a face for radio because what? wait, no, and follow me on this. When you were on the show, you weren't as open and as I think you were a little nervous because of being on air and stuff like that. You on the phone, untethered Rob is awesome.
Well, he's been just fucking sticking his face underneath the taps the whole time
That's
he's been
it.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
Another beer here.
He's
another
like,
beer
I
there.
gotta fucking still pack and move this house.
Dude, it radio gold right now from Rob.
You don't think of it, but he has given me the best insult I've ever had in my life.
Oh,
And I'm
really?
friends with Tim Saliani and fucking this guy and Liam and all of my scumbag asshole friends. And Rob, unassuming, awesome fucking
Side
scientist.
note: Tim Saliani fucking getting jacked.
Yeah.
He looked
He's pulling the Ethan Suplee kind of shit.
He lost,
Yeah,
he
he's
lost
going
100
big.
pounds.
Dude, not just that. He's getting
Yeah,
he's
dude.
getting jacked up.
bulk.
He's a pretty man.
He's a it's
wow.
pretty-
I'll tell you later on.
I'm
going to
be scared of him leading down the drum line, the band.
Yeah, when he's the major.
I'll tell you how I
From
found
the-
Tim
oh,
Sal
shit.
later on. But
Holy
we'll get back to Rob.
shit.
Just
getting
remember,
big.
Rob is like undercover fucking hilarious.
Yeah, all right. It's the same as Saliani. He's getting undercover rock jacked. It's gonna be ridiculous. We're gonna hear about that insult later. We're gonna get into that. Because we were.
But what is your favorite hop?
Oh, yeah, what is your favorite hop? I was just about to.
Man, all right. So my favorite hop is 100%. It has to be Idaho 7.
All right.
All right.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So yeah, no, but here's the thing. So like, it is a phenomenal hop, and I'm glad not a lot of people use it because I like it so much, and I don't want people to like really catch on that it's fucking amazing.
Too late.
Keep using your Citra, bitches.
Yeah, keep using keep using Citra and ignore Idaho 7, please.
Well, if Gary gets this show to be like streamed 600 times, everyone's gonna know Idaho 7's the way to go.
7's the way to go.
Fuck. Well, now
Yeah, now you're at a
All right,
crossroads.
so now I can't do it. All right, so now you're gonna have me back on next time.
Yeah, it's-
and I'll
dude.
blow up everybody's shit, and that will be the biggest one.
There you go. Idaho 7. I like it.
You know what my favorite hop is?
Get it?
Cashmere.
Yeah, I think you've said that before.
Man, I love that.
You
hop.
love the old smooth.
Cashmere with a little touch of Comet.
Ooh, Comet, old school, nice.
Yeah, brother.
Well, we were talking
Yeah,
about
no, Comet is so underrated.
we were talking about like Noble Hops a few shows ago. We were talking about Centennial.
Well, all the big C's.
Mount
The
Hood.
C's, yeah. Cascade,
yeah.
Centennial. Those
Well,
old-
when Larry from Spider Bite started doing those the letter hop
Oh, yeah.
beers with A, B, C, I think he fell off because he ran out of hops to name it. It's only a certain amount, but ABC was great. I mean,
Right, you couldn't do D because Denali's gone.
yeah.
Oh,
Son of
because
a
of those
bitch.
pricks over at Denali.
It's such a
Oh, by the
sore
way, they're going
spot.
to be on next show.
Oh, yeah.
Womp womp.
But the idea though is some of those C Centennial, Cascade, Citra,
Columbus. I like, you know what? Columbus
Cashmere.
is another underrated. We had done a smash beer with just Columbus.
Yeah.
And people loved it. They were like, "What hop is this?" They were like, "Oh, what is that? Is it Azaka? Is it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's fucking Columbus, man.
it's not from New Zealand.
It's
It's
fucking
fine."
Columbus. It was from upstate New York.
It's
what the
all
fuck?"
good.
I think that's the little bit of what we put into Play Like a Girl.
Yeah.
I think that was a handful. It was like Columbus, I think is what we did.
Oh, yeah.
Just to make
we
it
did.
more about
That's
me,
right.
because
Yeah. Good
fuck
stuff.
you guys.
Yeah, make it
Thank
more
you,
about Gary,
tangents.
please.
I'm gonna tantrum soon.
I really quick because we have a Springs beer here. This is the new one. I have not tasted this, by the way. This is never left wasn't here. Give us a little breakdown. This is the pale. Break it down. Rob, what went into this? Because it's not as detailed as some of your cans are. Do you remember what Never Left Wasn't Here was all about?
Just get
Not at all.
awesome.
No. Yeah, shit, that's hard for me to remember. I remember it being delicious.
Just one thing.
I remember it being very, very good. They had done a pale ale prior to that. I think it was Backwater. And I was talking to Gunnar about it, which I gotta say, Gunnar and Lindsay, like, they're brilliant when it comes to beer. Like, every single time I'm like, yes, I'm brewing the beer, but they're very particular about how it's done, when things are done, and I need to let everybody know that it's not just me; it is a lot of them. So they did this one beer, Backwater, and I remember we brewed it, and it was fantastic, and it's fermenting away, and then it was time to dry hop it, and we're tasting it like, man, this doesn't need a dry hop at all. And we dry hopped it, and it was good. It was good. It's just I was in love with it without the dry hop. Yeah. So they ended up brewing pale again, a little bit different, but that's what you're drinking now. And they ended up changing up the dry hop, and this beer is phenomenal. I'm so excited about this pale ale, and I don't know who's ever said that recently, being excited about a pale ale, but this one is phenomenal. So if you see that one around, please get that.
I'm coming off of your every Shades of Green.
Shades of Green, yeah,
so
it's a nice beer.
Right after I came off of that, I tasted the pale. It had a little like a peppery taste to it, just a touch of like something there, a little peppery. I should have probably did a little palate cleanse like Steven does every time he does his changeover. But overall, though, the pale is there, so it easy drinking. 6-something%, whatever it is, 5.4. Forget that. Definitely a lawnmower beer after it's all said and done.
Can we just jump, because you mentioned it, and I think it just needs to be mentioned a little bit, because I don't think we spoke about the Shades of Green.
Yeah.
Rob, can you just real quick, not even getting into the beer, but can you just tell everybody what it's about? Because this is worthy of mention, very worthy of mention.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Shades of Green, it's a beer that we're going to do annually. We dropped it for 4th of July, but we're going to, in future years, we'll drop it on Flag Day. It's a beer that we are taking a portion of the proceeds of the sales, and we're donating it to our local VFWs. And then we're also have been giving them, kegs for them to use at their VFW as they, see fit. The name came from Jeannie, our tasting room manager. She, we were trying to figure out, what to call this. We wanted something that would, honor VFWs, and she came up with that. I'm like, that's phenomenal. And, so that's the whole concept behind the beer.
It's cool because on the can art you have the different shades of camouflage, whether it be the old school, whether it be the new school, like the digital version and stuff like that. So very cool.
Yeah. So in the artwork there, each band represents the current branches recognize camouflage. Mm-hmm. So each branch is represented there. But yeah, no, it's something that we wanted to do, and to be able to give back to the PFWs, because we find that they're quite underfunded these days.
Yeah, for sure. My dad's a veteran, goes to the VA all the time. For all of the things that they offer, from his hearing aids to some medical things, and golf. By the way, if you go up to Northport VA, they have a beautiful golf course. Mm-hmm. My dad gets in there all the time for us, and we golf that course tremendously, and all the proceeds from the golf course go to the VA. Mm-hmm. So awesome. Support all your veteran needs. And we had a 14-star on 2 weeks ago, who was a veteran-owned brewery, and same thing. They have a ton of these charities that they give back to every year, and it hits home with a lot of people for sure. So good job on this one, and not to mention. The beer's freaking delicious.
Oh, well, thanks. But actually, I got a sidestep as well. This beer, the the majority of the recipe itself is actually not my brainchild. This is the majority of the recipe was created by my friend Blaine Horn. He lives over in California, and he was like, "Hey, you know, we should do a beer for VFWs." I'm like, "Absolutely, let's do that." And we actually started doing that last year with a beer called 13 Stars. And this year we were like, "All right, let's scale something up to a much more commercial level." And this is what came out of it. So he sent me the recipe. He's like, "What do you think of this?" And I'm like, "Dude, this looks like a phenomenal recipe." I tweaked like one or two things, and we just ran with it. So this is what popped out. So thank you, Blaine.
Very cool.
There you go. I want to get back to a question I asked Rob before. Rob in studio, not Rob on the phone. Because he is the point of sale, as we was talking about.
Yeah.
You know, people coming in. We have Springs, we have Ubergeek, we have Synergy. How do you approach your customers with these beers?
Oh, well, it depends on who comes in. So I ask them what their palate is and go from there. So basically, if they want something hoppy, put it toward either like an Ubergeek, what's hot right now, Abomination, right? If
Do you have a lot of like beer nerds coming in? Do you have
It's
the West Babylon store more known now, but
Yeah.
like Lindenhurst starting to
but
kind of
Lindenhurst,
see?
yeah, it's people actually have a couple handles for people at Lindenhurst because Cool Spot never had it.
No.
No. They had more mold than beer.
Do we have you on?
I'm sorry.
It's true. It's very true. There's a lot of mold.
Shots.
A lot of mold. When you walked into that place, let me take people back really quick. So there was a local distribution center, we'll say, called Cool Spot. It was well known. We used to get beer there when I was like 15, 16 years old. So yeah, I mean,
It's old.
It's old, and you know what kind of place it is if I say it like that. It was still there up until last year. Yeah. And when you walked in, there was a forklift followed by a whole bunch of stuff that never moved. It never moved. I don't even think the forklift ever moved. I never saw the forklift move.
$2,500 worth of garbage that was old beer sitting in the corner. It was just shoved in the corner.
Of what, though? What was it?
Heineken, Coors Light, Coors Banquet. The list goes on.
The champagne of beers.
Yeah. Just stuff that could have been sold but wasn't packaged right, wasn't taken care of. And just was kind of shoved in the corner.
Oh, man. And we know the whole story. For those people who are knowledgeable about the South Shore of Long Island, Cool Spot was a beverage distribution center that kind of went belly up after they owed a bunch of money to a bunch of big people, and that did not last all too long. And I remember driving by the day it went down, and there was some big federal people there taking stuff. Yeah. It was
I just
a big deal.
Like I said, I don't know the man.
Yeah. No.
It's just what it is. But at the end of the day,
he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing for.
I mean, I have stories. I'm ponding stories.
Yeah.
Because everyone comes and tells me stuff, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, what do I believe?
Well, all the locals, we all knew.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the first time, so we knew
he
he was going to catch
it. Had propane, stuff like that. Like, wait, what?
Pretty much. Stop paying his bills, stop doing everything. But it is what it is. He knew what he was doing. He was trying to get himself out of the business, and it's the way he wanted to do it. So he went out the way he wanted to go out.
Yeah.
And in the end, the good thing that sprouted up was Superstar Beverage.
Yeah.
Coming from your conglomerate of people that knew craft beer.
Yeah.
Now when you go in there, clean, organized.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a
no mold.
No mold.
That's a positive.
Is that a
I was
creature?
gonna say, shit. When I was on the dating apps, I should have been like, "Hey,
No mold.
single man, no mold."
No mold.
Fuck!
This guy's fucking hot.
Mariah, hang up now.
Yeah.
But I mean,
she's sharpening the knife right now.
on the big wheel, the stone wheel.
But no, seriously, Rob has done a great job. And again,
because he posts about Synergy as the first time I even heard of it was through him and
I
through
did
his
tasting there.
Yeah.
And when I do the tastings and everything like that, I'm up and down the aisles with everybody that's looking.
Yeah.
And it was great because you're a couple of doors that are just really done well.
Yeah.
And people were asking questions and I was answering and whatever, and they know to go there for some just great beer. You did you do a hell of a job over there.
You.
And even the other guys that aren't as knowledgeable, just like that one new dude, he was like, oh, hold on. And he's like, and then he went to ask me, and then he went to ask whatever. And that's something cool that you have built, because if you don't know the answer to a question, sometimes you're put on the spot. But this kid had the wherewithal, and he was a young kid.
Oh yeah,
wherewithal to be like, hold on, let me get you the answer for that.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, and I think that's a testament to you, like training them and whatever, you know.
I've actually
beating him out in the back. You ever open your mouth again?
Tie him to the old forklift.
The old forklift out back.
20 lashes.
Did
For
it
those of you
wrong.
who don't know what an IPA means.
No, but what he's talking about is actually my other assistant. His name's Nicholas. He's actually a really good guy. He knows a little bit about craft beer, but yeah, you know, he knows when to, you know.
But he knows what he doesn't know, and I think that's the important part.
It's the key, especially for people
That,
like
I think, is the
you
biggest thing in the
and
world.
Rob and those local craft brewers don't want false information going out. So that's why you need someone like Rob in there to kind of establish that line of communication. That if you don't know, then don't just say like bullshit.
shit
Don't
up,
try to don't make shit
And
up
to teach
just
him
get the sale.
properly.
Yeah.
Ask the dude that's there. Ask somebody else. Like, and
If
I
you
think
don't
that's
know,
so
then
important.
text you. I mean, how many texts
I
do you
think
get
that's so-
about certain things?
Oh,
Of people coming in? Yeah.
A lot. Yeah. Actually, old school beer, to be completely honest. Someone asked me about Elysian Space Dank.
Dank.
Dank, not
That's
dust.
it.
Not
That
the
is
dust. It's danker than the dust.
It is now.
But it has what?
No,
Oh,
good.
No, I was going to say, it has that idea that if you go into one of these distribution places and you have questions, you can ask them. There'll be people that will get you an answer. So don't go in, and I'll say this to the audience that doesn't know craft beer as much as some others. Don't go in feeling like, I'm undecided, or I just don't know enough and I don't want to ask, so I'll just pick whatever. Don't do that. Ask the questions you need to ask in order to get the beer that you want, because there is a beer for you at these places.
And if they don't have the answer, find another place that
Exactly.
does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that is only going to make things better for everybody else. Like,
Exactly.
if I go somewhere and I ask somebody, I want to walk out. It was like when I was a homeowner, and I had somebody coming to do work.
Yeah.
And they would come to give me like an appraisal or a whatever, an estimate. I wanted to walk out of that with a little bit more knowledge than I had beforehand.
Correct.
You know, and I think that's what you're building. That's what a few of these places are doing. And again, and it comes back to the tasting rooms too, with who you employ and everything like that.
Well, and on top of it, he's at
it's
the
fantastic.
Ubergeek tasting room. He's pouring
Yep.
beers.
Yep,
He's
absolutely.
knowledgeable enough.
Yeah.
So there you go. I don't think too many people would know when they walk into a distribution center or anything of a beverage place that they would get someone who actually works at a local brewery that knows certain things.
Yeah.
Obviously, you wear the gear, and that makes a lot of sense, and you represent the brand.
Yeah.
The concept is, though, if you see something like that, that's the person you ask.
Yeah.
Go over to that person and ask them, what do I want? This is what I like.
Yeah.
Same thing that I did at Brew Through. I knew exactly the kind of beer I liked.
Yeah.
So if the person is knowledgeable enough, they know what you would want based upon a few adjectives and a few things like ABV or the type of style that you like and all the things that we've gone through tonight. That is a key to both, the business on Rob's end and the business on you, Rob, end.
Exactly.
For everybody.
Yeah.
I do find, though, that more and more home Ds are starting to have a better knowledgeable staff.
Yeah.
Where
I feel like they
if
should.
you ask a question, I mean, I remember back, it was probably 15 years ago, and I went in some shithole place, and I was like, do you guys have Korzendonk? And the guy went, what the fuck is that?
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like,
All right.
I gotta go.
I'm going to go.
I gotta go.
Like
this.
Please, brother.
Yeah.
That was also one of my early guys with Ed and I. So
Is that the same person that goes Hoffenbrau?
Beer, man, back in the day. Korzendonk Brown. Oh,
Brown
man.
for me.
Unbelievable. Out of this world.
And
just unbelievable.
And if you took it and you looked, there would be little chunks of raisins on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
That's still one
You got
of
to
the...
tell
like,
Pete that's the goodness. That's the
it
goodness.
is the
that's
goodness
that's
of
still one of the best.
By the way, where is
that's
Pete
a good one.
tonight?
Didn't he have a bar mitzvah? He was.
He did, yes. He was
was-
the foreskin holder.
He was.
Yeah. But it's not going to be an
That's a
adjunct
bris.
in
They
New
give,
York.
Not a-
no,
not a- not a bar mitzvah. Sorry.
Nowadays they give it back.
Yeah.
They hold on to it since from the bris.
For
and
now.
you get it back if you want it. Yeah.
Oh, thank God I
so
came up a little bit early.
He's like the ring bearer, but he's the
It's like
foreskin bearer.
that movie Tomcats.
Well, it's a ring bearer, yeah.
Where what's his name's son tells what's his face to go get him his ball out of the thing. You ever see Tomcats? he had to get a ball removed because of cancer, and it was
in the jar.
Brucey, what's his name? John
Gary Busey?
Gary Busey. Thank you.
That's-
Busey's son is in it with
no.
and he asked it's another guy. I'm terrible with names, but he asked him, "You need to go get my ball." And he goes into like the laboratory.
Have you seen my baseball?
And he finds the guy.
You're canceled.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he finds the guy, and he gets the ball, and he has to like he misplaces it. It rolls down the hall. Someone steps on it, and he ends up finding like a walnut and giving it to him. He goes, "Thanks for getting my ball." You got to see that movie, Tomcats. One of the all-time greats, and no one ever gives it. Same thing with
How old is that? Bro?
Not Another Teen Movie. You got to watch Not Another Teen Movie.
Those are good though.
That is a classic movie. How High, like some of those '90s comedies, just is embedded in my soul. And that whenever any reference that I can have, you're gonna find like a late '90s, early 2000s comedy in my references all the time.
No, Scotty doesn't know.
Yeah, Scotty doesn't know. I listen to it.
doesn't
My
know.
kids know the song. My kids know the song. It's probably not
Scotty's
good.
got to go.
Yeah.
When cell phones were early and there were flips and whatever, and you could first get a ringtone, that was like one of my first actual ringtones ever. I was like, yeah, Scotty doesn't know. Like, was one of my first, like, ever, like, hey, I can do something other than these
Other than
on his birthday.
By the way, didn't they play that at Emo Night in Brooklyn?
Yes, they did.
They do, absolutely. That's a classic Emo Night in Brooklyn song.
We got back from
Lustra? Is that Lustra?
It's Lustra.
Yeah.
We got back from Delaware, and we were just beat and everything. And
Yeah.
this past Friday at Amity Music Hall was emo night. And I
Did
was
you
like,
go?
No,
Yeah.
I wanted to. So
I went
bad,
once. I don't know if I need to
man.
go again. I mean, it's cool and all, but it's like, you're going to hear the same, pretty much the same
emo
lineup.
night. Like, what, isn't that just depression?
Yeah, pretty much. It's, I like to go on the ship. You want to go on the ship?
That's all sold out.
I know, you can't go on it. You got to win tickets now. Imagine you and I win tickets. Emo night, emo's not dead.
I already have the shirt.
I know you do. All right, listen, we got to start to get out of here. This is
shit.
we're going way
What
long.
the
I told you I would just keep this going.
No, we could have conversations all night.
It's just some of us have to work in the morning. Not you.
Rob, are you still on the phone with us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, holy shit! Now that's a trooper right
He's in the
there.
car.
He's in the car now.
Holy shit! Yeah.
He's moving. Let's fucking track him.
Yo, just make sure you bring that order to Polywater Beverage.
You got it.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I'm still here. I
right.
was just about to pop a tank open.
Rob, I want you to give you an opportunity to go ahead and plug Ubergeek and give us all the information about it.
Oh, god damn. Okay.
You got this.
Yeah, no, all right. Put me on the spot. Hold on. All right, hey, I'm Rob. Please come to Ubergeek Brew.
That's what I'm talking about. You are a phone guy all day. I love it.
Oh, he's a fun guy, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, we try to push limits, push boundaries. I like to brew beer that makes me really uncomfortable, because I feel like if I'm uncomfortable, we're then doing something to advance, brewing as a whole. It's not just rehashing the same shit over and over again.
Like it.
So, yeah, so that's the gist of what we're trying to do here. We're out in Riverhead, and I bartend every Tuesday night. And so, yeah, if you want to come down and really geek out about some really weird shit, whether it's brewing or anything else, I'm totally open to it.
You can have people like Gary come in and just beg you to do certain things, like crazy things like the Synergy Brew Project.
Exactly.
Where do you think that
when
came
Gary's
from?
there, when Gary's here, it gets very loud, and it's just Gary.
He's been actually pretty tainted.
I'm actually very upset that they gave me a microphone,
and
because
that's
I'm
when
like,
it's
motherfuckers
closed.
could hear me.
We've heard so many things like Gunnar was like, yeah, good luck with Gary tonight. They didn't say it like that, probably, but he was like, "You're gonna have a lot of fun with Gary tonight." And I'm like, "What?" And then Rob comes in. And then Rob comes in and
Cunty motherfucking cunt. All right, sorry. Anyway.
And Rob comes in and he's like, "Oh, is he behaving himself?" I'm like, "What? Everything's been fine so far. What's going on? Nothing out of the ordinary. We're all good."
It's because you didn't hear me pee under the table.
I actually
Perpetual gallstones?
told Mike earlier. I said, just so you know, I've known Gary for a while, and we have no clue what's going to happen.
Wild card.
So did I behave myself enough to get like a re-invite that I could come
Absolutely.
back again and talk about some other shit?
We don't like to back it, but absolutely, fuck
I'm
yeah.
not saying tomorrow
No,
because
tomorrow.
I'm busy.
No, we'll do it tomorrow.
I'm busy tomorrow.
He's talking about tomorrow night.
No, I'm still busy. I can't come
Absolutely.
back until Friday.
You've been fine. Everything's been kosher, like Rob's brewery.
I think that was an anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Whoa, hey,
all of a
oh,
sudden.
no.
Those Irish guys.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
Yeah. Well,
I think
the
when
one
I
last thing-
promoted this, I said I might talk about some crazy shit, and one was like the whole black and tans thing. But anyway, go on.
Yeah,
Well,
you did.
the one last thing that I want to plug is,
Your
and,
brewery?
and I
Your
want
butt?
Gary to take this over.
Okay.
Is karaoke.
Oh my God. Is this a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's amazing.
It's a thing. So,
What's hold on, Gary? What's your go-to? What's your go-to song?
no.
No,
I don't
not
sing.
even that.
I don't sing. I run shit.
Oh, okay. All right.
So Starfish Junction.
Yep.
They do a lot of great events.
By the way,
and
are you
I
gonna be
completely forgot to give you tickets, and we'll wrap
That's
up
all
with
right,
that. And
Well, we
I'm gonna
didn't even
leave
give
you the
them
tickets.
away. There's no
Will you give them
call-ins.
away on the next show and
All right, I'll
whatever?
figure it
It's
out.
fucking cool.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
So Starfish Junction, Andy and Linda, like great friends of the family and everything like that. And it started
Andy's
a couple
a great
of
dude, by the way.
Yes.
We love Andy.
Yes.
Andy came down to AC Beer Fest 2 years ago.
Yep.
We hung out with him. Did we have him on? Did he come on for a few minutes? Or no, we just hung out with him?
No.
Yeah.
Just hung out.
One of the
We've
greatest
had him
dudes
on a
ever.
few times.
Unbelievable.
From Nassau Coliseum, Brewfest, to Belmont, to everything that started. Martha Clara back in the day.
I was at that first one.
Love Martha Clara. And then, of course, now, what's the Heckscher? Heckscher's been a great one.
So Heckscher's going to be the next
we
one.
get an open
August
invite
13th.
every time there's a beer fest.
Yep.
We get an email.
August 13th, Long Island Craft Classic. You guys are going to have, like, everybody that's listening, everybody that's going to listen in the future and everything like that, we're going to figure a way because Starfish Junction and us over here at the Synergy Brew Project have a pair of tickets to raffle off somehow online, whatever, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But, so I started bringing music to listen to when I do Beer Fest, because as soon as a Beer Fest starts, so does my mouth.
Okay.
And I don't shut the fuck up until the last person's done. Like,
Okay.
I say all sorts of shit. I am way offensive,
Ska sucks.
I will never say that. I love to explain to people, like, and like talk really stupid about the beers, and I'm like, oh, it's because like my favorite hobby is mansplaining. And then when they pick the beer, I'll be like, oh, and my second favorite hobby is victim blaming, and I'll fill the glass up to the top so it like spills. I'm like, so if it spills, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Like just dumb shit like that, just dumb little shit like that I like to do.
You like to
This
poke
is
the
when
beehive.
I called in. I
So
asked if Gary
basically,
was
what I
behaving
wanted to
himself.
start
Yeah, exactly,
was.
Rob.
So it started with me
Sorry.
listening to music, and then I had Mariah lead a. I was like, everybody come to this booth at whatever time, and we're gonna do like a fucking time warp. And I had Mariah lead the time warp dance.
Okay.
And then it turned into I sponsored some music at one of their events, and I have a friend, Renee D'Angelo, who is ridiculous. Her voice is unbelievable, whatever. But then I was like, hey, you know what? I don't need a real karaoke thing. If it's on Spotify,
Yeah, I got it.
you could karaoke the fuck out of it, and you don't have to sing well and whatnot. Because who doesn't want to sing at the end of a beer festival?
Yeah.
So I got all sorts of weird shit going on, and that's what we do now. And they made me a banner with my face on it, and so now basically Renee sings, and then when she's done, we do a very
Karaoke.
debauched version of karaoke. It doesn't matter if you know, like it whatever it is.
Something to look forward to.
Scotty
at
doesn't
Heckscher.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Something to look forward to.
Kind of
with,
like the
head shirt.
IRA chants and whatever, but whatever, man. It's all good. Like
Little black flag.
whenever I show up, rules get a little bit bent, maybe fractured.
Okay, fair enough.
That's it.
If you were looking for a good time, and everyone's friends here, kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Go over to the karaoke
At
section.
Long Island Craft Classic,
Long Island Craft Classic.
August 13th
Yeah.
at Heckscher. And if you can't quite afford the tickets, we got a couple that we're going to raffle
Yeah,
off
we're gonna figure
through
out
here
some
somehow.
sort of
or another.
We got 2 shows, I think, or one show between now and then that we'll figure out. We could always do a social media thing too.
Whatever you want,
So,
you
you
just
know.
understand that somebody's got to follow the Synergy Brew Project and somebody's got to follow the
Yeah.
LI beer events.
Easy enough.
That's it, plain and simple.
Fair enough. Rob, anything else before we let you go?
No.
Rob's sitting in the dock in
How
the
do you
brewery.
just fade out on that? Nope, and then just let it go black.
He's right now.
Nope, done.
He's just sitting in the brewery in the dock, just like, oh, please shut the fuck up. Let me go.
Rob, I'll let you go. Thanks a lot for joining into the show tonight. Rob Raffa of Ubergeek Brewing out in Riverhead. Check him out on Ubergeek Brewing on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that other good stuff.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Later, buddy.
Robbie.
Peace.
Oh, and also, other than that, over at North Fork Brewing Company, they have a pair of tickets to the Long Island Craft Classic that they are raffling off.
Oh,
$20 to get into the raffle.
Okay.
And now these are $70 tickets, and there's a pair of them for $20. You get 5 tickets. All the proceeds go to the Ed Hahn Memorial Scholarship, which is my father's scholarship.
Oh, wow.
So that's another place. If you're not going to call in and whatever we do here, and you just happen to be out on the East End, that's another place to go to get some of that, because Starfish Junction and LI beer events have been very, very generous to us. So.
Yeah, great people, great times, and everything they've ever done has always been Long Island centric.
Yeah, 100%.
With all the craft breweries in mind. And
Very
over the
amazing.
years, they've evolved and changed and morphed into the venues and the lineups and stuff like that. So
They're just terrific.
he's got his ear to the ground, we'll say.
And he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Linda's
Rob,
Yes.
go ahead and plug some Superstars locations.
Of course. West Babylon Superstar is located at 948 Little East Neck Road. Lindenhurst is located at...
New location. Whoop, whoop.
New location.
Love it.
No mold
455
involved.
No mold involved.
Montauk Highway with no mold or creatures.
Wait, they were creatures?
Oh my goodness.
Creepy crawlies?
Creepy crawlies.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And we're rock and rolling. I'll be at West Babylon Superstar from 10 to 4 tomorrow.
There you go. And when you're out at Ubergeek.
Ubergeek every Tuesday. I won't be there tomorrow because I'll be working at Superstar.
Yeah.
Be on vacation.
But Tuesdays are your jam.
Tuesdays usually. We last week, what did we do? $250 worth of chicken?
Jesus Christ.
something like that. Yeah.
That's a lot of shit.
That's when we had the account coming in brewing there.
Oh, right.
We had a lot of beers.
Yeah, a lot of beer.
beers.
A lot of beer, a lot of chicken. A lot of
Chicken.
A lot of beer, a lot of chicken, a lot of fun.
Gary, let's talk about Synergy. What do we got? What do we got coming up? What do we got going on?
So Synergy Brew Project right now. So Rob has his 2 cases for West Babylon and what's the other one?
Lindenhurst.
Lindenhurst. That'll
Yep.
be there. It's gonna be we'll be there tomorrow. Tomorrow it'll be where else? Polywoda out east, and
Yep.
it'll be at Jufro Dave's, Bellport Dave.
Oh,
Bellport
Dave's
Dave.
Cold.
You just say Jufro Dave.
Well, my last name is Rosen, so I'm the one that's allowed
He
to call
gets
him
to
that.
say it.
But
Jufro Dave.
then you're going to see that in distribution next week.
That fro is.
I love him,
He's getting
Fantastic.
old. He's getting old. The fro is not as good as it used to be.
but he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And beyond that,
Yeah.
the next beer that's going to be out will be within a couple of weeks. I am on the committee for the Safe Center Long Island, which is a phenomenal
nice.
charity. Amazing. So the Safe Center, LIPA. See what I did there?
No.
Yeah. Anyway, I like that. So they are doing their annual fundraiser August 29th, I believe, whatever that Monday is.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. So please hit up the show or myself over at Synergy Brew Project on Instagram. I can let you know about that. We're doing that, which is going to be a phenomenal IPA that all the proceeds are going to that charity. We have coming up a beer from Notorious Tattoo, the guys that do all our labels.
Yeah, big shout out
phenomenal
to
stuff.
them.
I mean, they're just like we haven't mentioned them enough. They're amazing. They're getting their show on TLC. They were on another TLC show. Amazing people, amazing work. So charity driven. It's just so important to me with my old psychology background and the beer thing, and I get to kind of put it all together. Just doing good things with good people for good causes, man.
Awesome.
It's just awesome.
Good times. Really appreciate you coming on the show. Awesome stuff from Synergy Brew Project. Check out Springs. Check out Kings Park. Check out Ubergeek, of course. Check out Synergy. And, of course, all this usually is available at Superstar, Lindenhurst, and West Babylon. So check them out. This is the Wort with Mike, Pete, and Steve, GovsRadio.com. Before we get out of here, congratulations for Peter for doing his thing at the bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
We'll have him back on soon. He's a very busy man.
If he's not christening stuff, he's
Doing other things.
He's doing other.
He does multi-religious.
I just want to say cunt one more time before I
I didn't put his mic off.
It's actually suing.
Yeah. And we really we miss Pete when he can't be here on these Mondays, but man, Monday's a pack for him, huh?
It seems like every time we have a show, they change his schedule, and now he's christening things. And today, obviously, I think Mondays are a big bar mitzvah.
Do you think he wore a yarmulke?
I think he wore a dreidel.
A dreidel. Yeah. I don't think he can wear those.
You can.
I get what, like
hard.
a bandolier.
Depends where you put it.
Are you impressed that I remembered bandolier?
Bandolier.
Damn, I'm fucking good sometimes. This is the Wort with Mike, Pete, and Steve, GovsRadio.com. Thanks a lot for everyone checking in on Instagram, on Facebook. We'll be putting out this episode on our normal outlets. That is iTunes, Hopped Up Network, of course, always on the Hopped Up Network, Amazon Music. It's going to be on iHeart. It's going to be on Spotify. It's going to be on everywhere you can find things. So thanks a lot for checking us out. And before we get out of here, dude, if they can get more than Kings Park Brewery to download
I dare you people to do
listen,
that.
he said challenge accepted.
I dare you to
Barney Fife, tried to get this with How I Met Your Mother, tried to get this going. Let's see what happens. Some parting words before we get out of here.
If you put a slice of bread on one side of the earth and a slice of bread on the other side of the earth, is the earth a sandwich at that point?
It is. This is where Mike, Pete, and Steve GovsRadio.com, and we out!
Well, that's 2 hours of your life that you'll never get back.
Are you kidding me? Please hang up and try again.
This has been The Wort on Govs Radio. I hope you're drunk enough.